Yeah. So I will request everybody ki please do not miss this opportunity. It will not be repeated. This session will not be repeated. And please understand that how you have to make a CB, professional CB, how somebody is if in a career break, how you have to position yourself. Even somebody is working professional, if they are going for a appraisal or such kind of things, so how they have to prepare beforehand. Please ask as many questions as you can. So it will be really nice. And ma'am is very experienced one, more than 18 years of experience, having so many companies. She is onboarded with so many companies. So please utilize this experience, right? So all the best, guys, and thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Please continue.
Sure. Thank you, sir. All right. So, like sir said, sorry, we need to keep it very introductive, right? As and when you ask questions, it would be much better for me to have this understanding that you are able to get what I'm trying to tell you, right? Because, interviewing skills or preparing your CV as well as preparing for performance appraisal interview are kind of very professional things, right? And whenever we are working somewhere in any of the organizations, every one of us has to go through this particular phase, whether to prepare resume properly so that we can crack the interviews, because most people do not understand that before we present ourselves to the interviewers, our resumes actually visits them. So it has to be such good, it has to be such in a proper manner. The formation should be like that. The grammatical mistake should not be there. The complete formatting should be in a manner that it looks appealing to the HR, right? Being there in 18 years in HR, I remember we used to reject so many resumes because they were not really correct. And now imagine this entire process of selecting your resume is done by artificial intelligence. Basically, it's a lot of ATS, lot of organizations really have recruitment trackers in place. So with this ATS recruitment trackers, what they do is they, as per the job description or as per the job postings, like you see on LinkedIn and other job portals, these ATS directly match the keywords with your profile, and then they select. So if the right kind of words were not written, the keywords will not be there on the CV. It would not be written in a proper manner. The sentences would not be formed in a professional manner. And the jargons that the industry use, if you have not written clearly those jargons, then there would surely be a lot of problems in selection of CV. फिर हम यही बोलते रह जाते हैं कि हमने 10 कंपनीज में अप्लाई किया, किसी ने भी हमारे को रिप्लाई बैक नहीं करा. Right? This is what we generally feel. But why this happens is purely because of the way our resumes are not being done properly. So let me just share this small presentation that I've created.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Ma'am, what is
Sure.
jargon?
So jargons are specific words that we generally use when we are, these are industry related words. So for example, जैसे डॉक्टर्स के पास आप जाते हैं, so डॉक्टर जो मेडिसिन का नाम जैसे हमें डिस्प्रिन देते हैं, अगर तो डिस्प्रिन इज नॉट अ मेडिकल नेम. डिस्प्रिन हमारी नॉलेज के लिए है, पर उसका कोई मेडिकल नेम होता है जो उनका मेडिकल जार्गन के थ्रू वो जानते हैं. Right?
Okay,
अब
ma'am.
जैसे एचआर है, एचआर में हम लोग रिक्रूटमेंट्स को सारी दुनिया पूरे सिलेक्शन फॉर्मेट को, चाहे रिज्यूमे से लेकर किसी भी एम्प्लॉय को हायर करना, तो उस प्रोसेस को रिक्रूटमेंट के नाम से जाती है. बट एचआर के अंदर बहुत सारे जार्गन्स होते हैं. इसमें इसको सोर्सिंग कहा जाता है, रिक्रूटमेंट अलग है, टैलेंट एक्विजिशन अलग है, ऑनबोर्डिंग अलग है. तो ये सारे के सारे जार्गन्स हैं जो एचआर में जनरली यूज किए जाते हैं. Similarly, industry to industry and the profession that you are in.
Okay,
लॉजिस्टिक्स में
ma'am.
हो
Got
आप
it.
या जिस भी उसमें हो आप, उसके अंदर अलग अलग जार्गन्स हो जाते हैं.
Yes, ma'am.
यू कैन सी द स्लाइड, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. So this is one particular format that is, I have obviously taken these from Google Images, but these are the latest resumes format that is being there for quite a while. And if you clearly create your resume like this, there are chances that it is very much visible. Right? So there is where you have seen hello, there is this very small summary written out for your profile. So, for example, if you are an experienced person, you have 3-4 years of experience in whatever profession you are, you will just write a little summary of what you have done in these 3-4 years. Right? So, for example, I'll just give you an example. इसके अंदर example ज़्यादा नहीं दिया हुआ है मैंने because again it's taken from Google, so they don't really. I don't want to use somebody else's resume. So, how you can actually briefly write your summaries in a very crisp format. That these are the skills that I'm working on, and these are the challenges that I have resolved. Simple. And that too in just this much of space which is written there, right? Not really too long. If you want some more specific help or support from our side, I'll be able to help you out. You can get in touch with me personally for creating or maybe correcting your resume once you have clearly prepared after this session. You can just show it across to me. I'll share my number, that's not an issue. And then I'll tell Neeraj sir also that I'll help you out in preparing your CVs if you need my help. Right? So just go through this session properly so that after this session, you can just send across me your resumes in whatever format you have. So now here you can mention your name and here your designation or whatever profession you are in. So if you are an HR professional, you can write HR professional. So if you're a marketing professional, you can just write that you're a marketing director or marketing manager, whatever position you are currently occupying. Then here, obviously, your contact detail, which is phone number, email, and address. This is about your education first. So here you can mention your bachelor's and master's, whatever you've done, the year very clearly and neatly written, and the universities. Then we'll come to the work experience part. So the work experience part should be then coming down under it. And then you will mention from the latest to the last job that you've done. So latest means the one that you're doing currently. You will mention about that. So job position, title, any one of these things, whatever you have, the location that you're working in, then the company and institution, whatever you are working in, organization's name or something. And then again, a brief history about your job responsibilities. So how do you write your job responsibilities? Any one of you would like to tell me? How many of you are working currently?
The job responsibility. May I?
Yeah, this is basically about your job responsibilities, that what are you currently doing in the organization?
Like whatever we are doing, what responsibilities we have. I am a tender executive in our company. So my job responsibilities are collect the data, search the tenders and fill the tenders, documentation parts.
Okay,
That's all.
okay. So how do you write
Costing.
it now? How will you write it in this format? Yeah. Or how have you written? I'm sure you must have prepared your resume, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Let me open it.
Yeah, if you want to showcase, then perfectly fine with me. I can correct it right away. That's not, maybe I can just show you one or two. And then rest of you can do it yourself. I'm not sharing my screen so that you can share your screen. Guys, kindly open your cameras. You guys are not really looking professional with, sitting across in a session and not opening your cameras at all. There would not be any interaction, trust me. Last session, I understand that was maybe not of your interest because all of you are not taking HR, but here in this one, I'm sure this would be useful for every one of us.
Ma'am, actually, I'm having bad weather today, my side.
Okay.
So,
Okay, Vaidehi. That's okay.
you
Am
must
I
have
audible?
traveling. So, I am traveling. That's the reason my camera is not on. But in another 15, 20 minutes, I'll reach my home and then I will.
Okay. All right. No problem. Sure. Got it. My idea is to be interactive. So, Jasprit, you want to share your CV?
Yes, yes, yes.
So go to the share screen. Yeah, I think you can share your screen.
Share screen.
It's a green button.
Okay.
Just share screen and open the window that shows your CV. Yeah. Go to the first, the start of the CV. Okay. So first thing, देखो, the first thing that you have done is curriculum vitae की spelling गलत है. So it is vitae. And don't write curriculum vitae because generally curriculum vitae or resume में फर्क क्या होता है? Curriculum vitae is for the people who have got more than 10-15 years of experience.
Okay.
So they are generally people who are at a very senior level or they are doing very specialized jobs. So that's when we use it. जब उनके 5-6 pages का CV हो जाता है तब हम उसके लिए CV word use करते हैं. For professionals under 10 years of experience or 12 years of experience, we generally call it resume. And you don't have to write resume as a title because everybody knows it's your resume, right? So no need for that. And like I showed you the format, you can have that format. It is available on many platforms now on Google. Free of cost, these formats are available. जो मैं आपको दिखाया है, उसमें आप इसको एक बार कोशिश करना डालने की, right? So name is fine. Email IDs and in the same format you can write. So let's start with objectives. So a motivated accounts professional with knowledge of financial management and accounting principles to secure an accounts job at a well-established VMS with previous together from services can contribute. So a little bit changes would be required here.
Actually, this was for I want to change my career in accounts field or finance field.
You want to shift to accounts?
Yeah. Or finance. Actually, I am doing. I had experience like 4 or more years
Hmm.
on GEM portal.
Okay.
So I have more knowledge about
Good.
the GEM and tendering, how to make documentation parts.
All right. So you're not really a account professional right now, correct?
Yes.
So don't write this that I am a motivated accounts professional. So you write about what you're doing right now, that I am this professional. You want to call yourself tender executive, you want to call yourself logistics, but I am planning to shift my career to finance or accounts. With my keen interest in this particular job, जो भी job title आप देना चाहते हो, I want to work with an organization who can help me understand accounting process where I can contribute for its overall
Actually,
success.
this is not updated resume.
Right. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
have-
saying. Just create it in a proper format. I'm just giving you an example right now using your CV. We'll be able to, after this session, just try and make changes that I'm suggesting. If you all can make a note of it, right? Or maybe you can go back to YouTube later on and then you can make changes. And then for correction, again, you can send it across to me on WhatsApp or my email ID. I'll be able to correct it and send it across to you. It will take some time, but I'll surely do that.
I'd like to share my screen and show my resume, which I just used for one of my job interviews.
You can send it across to me, Vedi, on my email ID. I'll share my email ID at the end of the session. Right? I'll put it in the chat box. Then you can share. I'm just trying to show you how it is to be done so that using Jaspreet's example, so that you can make the correction through the PPT that I'll be sharing with you all.
Ma'am, can I share my resume also on screen?
Yes, every one of you want to share on screen, Anjan?
Yes.
Maybe
ma'am.
after Jaspreet, you can do that. Yeah, we'll quickly do that. So Jaspreet, go back. और ऊपर जाओ, the first. I want to see the work experience. So work experience, you're saying KSM Academy, Vishnu Garden is perfectly fine. Location is also mentioned. Date is perfectly fine. Manager what? You have to write that. Whether you're a finance manager, you're operations manager, you're handling finance, whatever you are handling. So manager is not a position. The function has to be clearly mentioned out there.
Actually, this was my brother's academy, so I was just handling with all
It's okay.
students and
Nobody else would know that. So of course you can mention any, maybe you can mention general manager, right? Managing general activities in the institution. Yeah, in category. And by the way, we have a position of finance executive that we are looking at for one of the clients. So if you want to apply for that, you can do that. But it is in Kutub institutional area. So you can get in touch with me after the session. I'll try and see if you want to start your accounts, career from that. Right? It's a full-time job and it's a good company to start with.
Sure.
Just go a little bit down. I want to see this entire thing. Okay. So you have written a very large paragraph also and then bullet points. I would suggest remove this paragraph. Just mention
Okay.
very briefly in 2 lines that this is what I'm going to do. And then responsibilities is perfectly fine in a bullet points. But it should not be in 5, 10 bullet points. These days, because what happens is, like I said, artificial intelligence, ATS machines, basically, what they do, you will, from software, they say, अगर आप suppose accounts executive की position के लिए apply कर रहे हो, so account executive में क्या क्या keywords होंगे major? Keywords would be entries करना, journal entries करना, a knowledge of finance, tally की information होना, taxes के बारे में knowledge होना, so ये सारे keywords हैं आपके majorly जो accounts executive के होंगे, so वो keywords similarly आपके इसके अंदर resume के अंदर दिखाई देने चाहिए immediately. तभी ATS जो है वो tracker जो है वो तभी pick up कर लेता है immediately. राइट इसीलिए यू विल सी पहले जब हमारे सीरीज बनते थे तो 2-3 पेज के बन जाते थे बिकॉज मैनुअली लोग चेक करते थे एचआर में भी राइट नाउ इट इज बीइंग डन बाय अ सॉफ्टवेयर सो बहुत ज्यादा लेंथी रिज्यूमेस अगर होते हैं तो वो रिजेक्ट हो जाते हैं दे डोंट रियली गो फॉर देम सो ट्राई एंड कंक्लूड योर सीवी इन जस्ट 1 पेज दैट इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू so these responsibilities you can put it in a very short format with just 2 lines out there. Right? How much is your total experience, you said?
4 or more years.
4 years. No? Right. So 4 years can easily come on 1 page. Right. How many organizations did you change?
3.
Okay.
3
So
or
3 organizations in 4 years. Not a good sign, actually. Yeah. But it's all right. Yeah. So you can stop sharing the
third, I
screen
am
now.
currently doing in 3rd organization.
Okay. So Harman India, you were tender executive. Fine. Okay. Go down. And then Kamla Enterprises. Okay. And what have you done in academics?
Sorry.
Academic qualifications? Grade 12. You don't have to start writing about 12th now. You can write just BCom from whatever universities you've done. And yes, professional qualification is fine. You are writing this and you're writing FOPA. Fine. These are 2 fine things. Just remove grade 12. Okay, core competence is fine. Yeah. Core competencies also you can mention in the same format that I'm showing. If you can stop sharing your screen, let me just go back to my PPT and I'll show you. Yes, Suman, you want to ask something?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I wanted to ask that what is the difference between academic qualification and professional qualification in terms of like.
Yeah. So,
that
you know
are
what
mentioning?
normal graduations that we do, which is BA and BCom and all that. So they are regular academic qualifications. Professional qualifications are basically some specialized course that you have done. So like, MBA would be that, CA would be that, any other degree that you've
Engineering
taken.
or MBBS, like I have done BTech in biotechnology. So will that be my academic?
BTech would be your professional. BTech is generally taken as professional degree.
So we can only slash down that academic, and we need not to mention 10th or 12th directly. I can
No,
mention
you don't have to. Yes, you can. So like you see in this particular CV, it is mentioned Bachelor of Arts and Masters in Communication and same thing. We have not segregated into 2 parts, which is academic and professional. It's just education that you have obtained, right? So simple, you can write that as well. Then
Yes.
comes to work experience. So all the three companies you can see, because we have already given in hello, where it is written, you see that, we have already given a very brief summary of what we are doing, of our job responsibility in that area. So we need not give it again in job position and title that we are doing. Right? You don't have to write it again and again. Just write something very unique that you're doing in your company currently or you have done in past. Right? Very briefly about the job responsibilities that you have handled. Right. I'll show you one more CV at the end of the session. I mean, after we complete this, then you will be able to get it a little bit much more better way. That format is a little different from this one. So you can use any of these two formats for changing your resumes. And then comes the expertise. So which is your core competencies that, like, Jaspreet ne niche dikhaya tha apne sabse last CV mein. So here you can write your expertise. Expertise can be, computer language if you're really going for that particular job. Any of the skills that you have, like, you are really good at graphic designing along with your jobs, or you're really good at CAD, whatever things that you are doing. So whatever is your expertise related to your job, you need to mention in these things. It cannot be more than 4 or 5 skills. Very briefly, you have to write just their names. And then the skills that you occupy. So skills can be that you know Excel really well, you know Tally really well, you know some softwares really good, which are helpful for your job, right? Or during your performance or during your professional qualification, you obtain some specific, degree or diploma or certification that also you can mention in skills, right? So this very brief your resume should look like. The moment it goes to the HR, they will be able to read out the jargons and then they will be able to select your CV automatically. So just ensure that whatever words you're using, it has to match with the job responsibility. Sometimes what we have to do is, suppose you are applying for a specific job that you really like on LinkedIn or any other job portal. So then try and copy whatever job description says, you can copy the similar things in your resume so that the keywords which is mentioned in that job description can match with your profile. If only you know it. If you don't know it, then obviously there is no need. But if you know all those responsibilities, it's just a matter of changing the language sometimes. Because what happens is, a different organization uses different titles and job positions. So suppose अभी जसप्रीत अगर टेंडर एग्जीक्यूटिव की तरह काम कर रही है एंड शी वांट्स टू अप्लाई फॉर अकाउंट एग्जीक्यूटिव, बट अभी वो जहां भी अपना रिज्यूमे भेजेंगे अगर उसमें बहुत ज्यादा अकाउंट्स एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंशन नहीं होगा तो वो टेंडर एग्जीक्यूटिव पढ़कर ही सीवी रिजेक्ट कर देगा एटीएस, राइट? रिक्रूटमेंट ट्रैकर्स जो होते हैं सारे. सो दैट इज व्हाई द यूज ऑफ वर्ड, द स्किल्स एंड एक्सपीरियंस हैज टू बी डन इन अ मैनर कि जो मशीन है आप उसके साथ आराम से उसको बता सको कि यू हैव डन दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, right? So, like, the slide says, choose the right format. You need to ensure whatever is fitting for you. If you're too much experienced, maybe, 10 plus 15 years of experience you have, then you can take a format where your resume is building into 2 pages. But otherwise, 1 page is more than enough these days. That's how short and, things are happening in the industries, in every organization. Then, like it is mentioned here, you can highlight your experience like this way and show your accomplishment. So, every person who is interviewing you should be aware that, this is the girl that I need to hire, this is the man that I need to hire for my organization purely because of the achievements that you've done. So, your achievement should talk about the challenges that you have resolved for your company. So, for example, your company got stuck somewhere and you gave a solution, you were a problem solver. So, everything that you are mentioning in your resume should talk just about 2 things, that is, your responsibilities given to you and how beautifully you handle those responsibilities. Right? Then, understanding the purpose of your resume. So, how do you write your summary or objective? It's like, the first line you can see it's not about you, it's about them. So every time, every company that you're applying for, you can actually make some changes in the summary or you can make changes in the resume format. little bit, so that you can really align with the organization's requirement and needs. The main goal is to make an impact on potential employers by showing how you can provide value to their organization. So, like I said, your job responsibilities and their job postings should match with each other very cleverly. Learn how your resume for each job you apply for and show that you bring to the table. So, like I already said, whatever problems you have solved, whatever challenges you have handled, whatever proper job responsibilities you have managed for them, just mention that much. You don't really have to go overboard. You don't really have to copy somebody else's. Whatever you have done, see, people want to see how authentic you are. अगर आपका रिज्यूमे आ रहा है और आपके उसके बाद इंटरव्यू होता है, so people want to match up कि जो रिज्यूमे में लिखा था, this person is actually bringing in the same thing here. There is no gaps. Because most of the time, how we reject candidates is purely on the basis of, first, obviously, like I said, the resume. अगर रिज्यूमे का फॉर्मेट अच्छा नहीं है, स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स हैं, प्रॉपर बॉर्डरिंग नहीं हो रखी है, ढंग से बुलेट पॉइंट्स नहीं है, आपने फॉन्ट साइज अलग अलग यूज कर रखे हैं हर जगह पे, तो ये सब सारी मिस्टेक्स अवॉइड कर सकते हैं. ब्रीफ बनाओ, सुंदर सा बनाओ और इजीली से भेज दो. Now, most of the computers that you're using, if you're using laptops or if you're using the latest version of Windows, so PDF में जैसे ही आप convert करने लगते हैं, तो PDF also shows you different formats of CVs that you can build. So try and do create your CVs in that format, because generally ये लोग जो भी companies हैं, softwares देते हैं, ये सारे latest use कर रहे हैं. I mean, they know कि latest क्या चल रहा है. So उसके हिसाब से when you start using them, there are chances that the employers see it, the HR people see it, and they would be able to see your potential for the company in a very crisp manner. This I've already told you, that you can choose resume format totally the way you want to do it. You want to show your education first and then your job responsibilities, or in a different chronology, right? You want to show your functions first and then your education qualification. You can do that as well. So then आता है third point, which is identifying the relevant experience and skills to include. So how much is your total experience and what are the skills that you have? So now again, suppose the skills that you have not necessarily may come from the education that you have taken, right? Some of the skills that you have learned over a period of time because you're working in an organization, वो भी बहुत जरूरी है highlight करना. For example, हमारी ग्रेजुएशन या पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन में हमें प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग नहीं सिखाते हैं नॉर्मली इन अदर इफ यू आर डूइंग बीकॉम और बीए और दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. एमबीए में तो चलो थोड़ा बहुत हम लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है कि एनालिटिकल स्किल्स क्या है, प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स क्या है, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग कैसे करनी है. बट जब आप जॉब पर जाना शुरू कर देते हो, वंस यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, you start gaining experience in problem solving, in knowing how I have to use my analytical skills in resolving problems for the organization, or how I am very good at people management. So you start getting to know these things through the feedbacks that your seniors have given you, or the people in your organizations have given you, or because you are handling those jobs already, and some skills you learn. So you have to mention all those relevant experience and skills in a manner that it becomes a highlight in your resume, right? Like we did show you in the left side of the corner, that you can mention your skill. Bullet points mean simple skills, that's it. And use of bullet points. This slide talks about that. The more you use bullet points, the more your resume looks very readable. जितना भी पैराग्राफ में हम लिखने की कोशिश करेंगे, लार्जर पैराग्राफ, इट वुड बी डिफिकल्ट फॉर समवन, बिकॉज इतना टाइम नहीं होता है. सपोज अगर आपको एक जॉब के लिए अप्लाई करना है, सो यू आर नॉट द ओनली एप्लीकेंट. There would be hundreds of others, 20 others, 25 others. So imagine अगर HR को जल्दी में hire करना है किसी को भी, so they won't be able to go through all the details of everybody's CV. है ना, experienced है, इतना time ही नहीं होता है हमारे पास. To be very honest, right? So we go through the highlights of the points कि इसने अच्छा ये handle किया, हमें ये चाहिए. This is what she's mentioned, he has mentioned. Tick marks करते गए अगर हम manually उसको screen कर रहे हैं, and then we call the person for the interview. So you need to highlight everything in bullet points so that everything that you have done should come out very clearly in a very concise, precise manner. Right? ऐसा कहीं नहीं होता है कि जितना लेंदी लिखोगे उतना ज्यादा आपके चांसेस हो जाएंगे, वो वाला टाइम चला गया है. Then formatting and design tips. So like I said, formats has to be used in a careful manner. अगर आप बॉर्डरिंग कर रहे हो अपने रिज्यूमे की, so bordering should be done very very nicely. हर पेज पर सिमिलर बॉर्डरिंग हो, अगर एक पेज से ज्यादा है तो. If there are more than one pages that you are using, so try कि नीचे footer के अंदर आपका पेज नंबर आ जाए 1 and 2, right? So that continuity बनी रहे. हाँ? उसके अलावा font size is very important. Maximum number of resumes are either created in Times Roman or which one is that? There is another one.
Arial black.
No, Arial में नहीं बनते हैं सीवीज. C से होता है उसका नाम. I'm forgetting the names. I think Calibri. Yeah. So Calibri and Times Roman 11 or 12 size. That's all. इसके अलावा अगर आप प्योर फॉन्ट यूज करते हो, so that most of the ATS do not really accept that. So क्योंकि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट के ही सारे.
Can I share my resume on screen? I have 2-3 queries in the meanwhile.
Sure. Let me just complete these slides. This interview wala. Before we move to the interview skills, I'll surely go through 1 or 2 series. No problems. And use clean, modern size headers and sections. Very importantly. So your headers and sections should not be too bold. It should not be more than a font 14 or 16. Right? So if you are using 11 for writing your rest of the resume, your headings should not be more than 14. If you are using 12 as a normal resume, then your heading should be 16, not more than that. 16 भी थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाता है. 14 and bold should look good really. Right? It becomes attractive. And try and see that not more than one font is used anywhere in the system. You can change the size of the font depending upon the headings and everything, but not more than one font in any of these resumes. Right? अगर bullet points use कर रहे हो, so like I showed you, right side of the screen. Let's go back to this. So this right side where you can see the white portion, यहाँ पर आप बुलेट पॉइंट्स यूज करो तो सिमिलर लगने चाहिए. जो लेफ्ट साइड पे बुलेट पॉइंट्स यूज करो वो सब सिमिलर होने चाहिए. राइट? स्पेशली इन द एक्सपर्टीज एंड स्किल्स का. गॉट इट? देन आता है कॉमन मिस्टेक्स टू अवॉइड. सो लाइक यू सॉ कि हमने जैसे ही सीवी खोला, आई एम नॉट अशेमिंग यू जसप्रीत, करिकुलम वाइटे की स्पेलिंग ही गलत है. राइट? सो दिस इज, you have to be very careful. See, grammatical mistakes or mistakes in English language should not be seen that visible. I understand कि हम लोग इंडिया में रहते हैं. Many of us may not have got our education properly from English medium schools. So that's perfectly all right. But because हमारे resumes generally English language में accept होते हैं, so try and get it done with the professional's help. 500-700 रुपए लेते हैं आजकल सीवी बनाने के लिए लोग, उससे ज्यादा नहीं लेते हैं. राइट? अब बिकॉज इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है. हम लोग सीनियर लोग से चार्ज करते हैं 5-6 हजार रुपए. जूनियर लोगों का तो इतना ज्यादा पैसे हम लेते ही नहीं है, जो प्रोफेशनली आपका रिज्यूमे करेक्ट कर देते हैं. वैसे तो इस सेशन के बाद जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी किसी प्रोफेशनली उसको वो करने की, but try and use your responsibilities in a manner that grammatical mistakes ना दिखाई दे. So have, had, are, is, ये वाली जितने भी हमारे verbs होते हैं, helping verbs होते हैं, connecting verbs है, properly लिखे होने चाहिए. Second mistakes जो बहुत ज्यादा होती है ग्रामर में हम लोग कर देते हैं, वो है punctuation marks. Punctuation marks क्या होता है कि हम कहाँ पर कॉमा आना है, कहाँ पर exclamation mark आना है, कहाँ full stop आना है. So जितने छोटे sentences आप लिखोगे, there are chances कि ये सब चीजें उसके अंदर mistakes होने की नहीं रहेंगे. Right? So it has to be very very important because ये एक sure shot pitfall है. Trust me. I'm not boasting about me, but हम लोग बहुत सारे reject कर देते CVs purely because इतनी grammatical mistakes होते थे कि टाइम उसको पढ़ते पढ़ते ही आपका दिमाग उसकी करेक्शन में ज्यादा जा रहा है, इसमें कम जा रहा है कि उसने काम क्या किया हुआ है. राइट? एंड योर रिज्यूमे इज बेसिकली योर आप कोई चीज खरीदने जाते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू आर बाइंग अ न्यू लैपटॉप फॉर योर सेल्फ या न्यू फोन फॉर योर सेल्फ. तो फोन का हम क्या करते हैं जनरली, आजकल खरीदने से पहले हम उसके रिव्यूज पढ़ लेते हैं. राइट? ऑनलाइन जाकर या किसी भी साइट पे जाकर वी ट्राई एंड सी कि लोगों ने क्या रिव्यू दिए हैं या इसके अंदर क्या क्या बेनिफिट्स हमको मिलने वाला है, राइट? कितना स्क्रीन साइज है उसका, क्या उसकी जीबी रैम है, कितना उसके अंदर मेमोरी है, ये सब चीजें हम पढ़कर जाते हैं तभी हम वाला हैंडसेट खरीदते हैं. सो दिस सीवी इज एग्जैक्टली द सेम थिंग फॉर यू. इट इज टेलिंग यू कि आपकी कितनी रैम है, आपने क्या क्या स्किल्स करे हुए हैं. तो स्किल्स इज बेसिकली योर रैम that you have to showcase to an employer, right? बाकी जितना भी स्पेसिफिकेशन है, it's basically your highlights that will help you in selling your skills to the employer. Because highly populated country हो गए हैं हम इंडिया में, अपने आप को अगर हमें स्टैंड आउट करना है कहीं पर भी, so we need to ensure कि मेरे पहुंचने से पहले जो चीज मैं भेज रहे हैं हम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, whether that is looking really good or not. Once we go, we bring ourselves for the interview. उसके बारे में भी हम सेशन में बात करेंगे. But this is the first impression that you are sending it to the HR of the organization. So in short, these mistakes are not there. Now this is the second format that you can go through. Again, here you can keep your picture. This is your name that can go. So you can see इसमें कहीं नहीं लिखा है कि ये resume है या curriculum vitae है. कुछ भी लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Simply your designation or whatever specialist you are. Then your professional profile in 7 lines. Simply what you're doing. It is not objective. It is just a summary of what you have done over the period of years. You are a logistic professional, what you have done in logistics. If you are an HR professional, what you have done in HR. If you are a marketing professional, what you have done in marketing. Just crisply written, write that. Then you see यहाँ पर हमने work experience पहले ले लिया, complete. And education we shifted to the left side. So your contact details, then your education, जिस भी year wise आपने किया है, and then your skills. Because this person is applying for customer specialist, computer support specialist, so इसीलिए सारी की सारी computer related जो भी उसकी skills है, Photoshop में वो कहाँ पर है. So this is the scale which is generally given in the resume format. तो आप उस scale पे choose कर सकते हो कि on a scale of 1 to 5 where you stand. So whether your Photoshop is 3 or 4. सिमिलरली अकाउंटिंग में अगर आप अप्लाई जॉब कर रहे हो तो आपको टैली कितना आता है. टैली का न्यूएस्ट वर्जन 9.0. हाउ मच यू नो ऑन द रेट स्केल ऑफ 1 to 5, you know it 3. So just mention the color. That color coding can show you different skills that you can mention, right? So जैसे ही आप उसके अंदर टाइटल डालोगे, आपके रिलेटेड स्किल्स आपको दिखाई देना शुरू हो जाता है. ऐसे वाले फॉर्मेट ऑटोमेटिकली अवेलेबल हैं आजकल गूगल पे. So just try and search for it and fill in your details accordingly. Right, now you can show me your CVs, 1 or 2%. I'll quickly correct it. I'll tell you what needs to be corrected, and then we'll move to the interviews.
Yes, can I share my CV?
Yes, I'll just stop sharing my screen. Now you can share the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Yes.
See, now this format is very old. So you need to clearly change this format.
Yes,
जो
ma'am.
latest चल रहे हैं ना, I have shown you both the latest ones. The
Yes.
latest ones have your chance, have the opportunity to showcase your face as well. Because if you go through anybody's resume, आजकल लोग resume भी कम check करते हैं. They check your LinkedIn profile before you even go for the job, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So LinkedIn maybe they see your face, they see what kind of skill set you have. So whatever you're writing in this LinkedIn, you can write actually in your resume. So this curriculum writing has to go, as I already told you, इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. Formatting change करेंगे. Career objective obviously has to change. There
Yes.
is no need for career objective these days. There is a summary, professional summary. How many years of experience you have, Anjan?
Ma'am, 5 years, 9 months in Cognizant.
Great. So see, now you have good experience of 6 years approximately. So you have a good, experience of showcasing what summary you have for your professional experience.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, right now I'm doing internship as a management trainee intern in Noida in Fiducia Solutions. So I want to switch my career in HR. Well, right now in Cognizant, I am working in insurance sector, which is BPS sector. So I work,
Okay.
and my designation is a senior process executive data there.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So please advise how.
Show me नीचे. Let's go there. So technical skills, like I told you, कि आप left side में नीचे अपनी skills उसमें दिखा सकते हैं. Now let's go to your experience and knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Core competencies again is your skills. So you can show it that way. Teamwork you're good at. Don't write good judgment, initiatives and all that. Just write how, if you're writing resourcefulness, for example. So you need to tell them how resourceful you are.
Yes,
What are
ma'am.
the good things that you have,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
So I can
Somewhere
write
in your CV, somewhere in your CV, it should mention that why you are calling yourself resourceful. So what have you done? So maybe in your job responsibility, indirectly you can highlight that I was resourceful because I did these 3 things for my organization. Simple.
So, ma'am, what can I write in core? Teamwork and excellent verbal communication skills.
No need to write communication skills as well.
Okay, so teamwork is good.
Yeah, teamwork is good. Then write what is the how do I tell you? Professional skills that you have. Professional skills हमारे लिए जरूरी होता है. I want to know, especially if you are changing your career now from IT to HR, I need to know how good you are in people management or understanding people's problem. Right? So maybe people management skills you can write. In your
So,
current organization, you manage how many people, उसके हिसाब से आप अपने आप का उसमें वो लिख सकते हैं. Then problem solving, कि आपके पास problem लेकर आती थी आपकी टीम. See, generally people who are managers, उनका क्या benefit होता है कि उनके पास लोग आते हैं अपनी problems लेकर and they give the solution to their problems.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so that thing I mentioned in experience and knowledge, that how much the people are handled in the team.
Correct. That is fine. But in skills also, we need to show very briefly what you're good at.
Yes, ma'am.
So writing की English की जरूरत नहीं है.
Yes, ma'am.
You can commitment is also good, but again, everybody's commitment, nobody says that I am not committed. So इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. Resourcefulness is a good word, I feel, and I need to go through your CV in details to suggest you what you can mention more.
Yes, ma'am.
Go down, experience and knowledge. So join Cognizant from 2017. This needs to go नीचे, सबसे नीचे. We generally start our experience with the latest job that we are doing.
So, ma'am, I have latest job as a management trainee intern.
Yeah, so you can just mention that up and then the second one and then the third one.
Yes, ma'am.
Going in a different order. See why it is relevant this way is because आप जो भी आप next job के लिए apply कर रहे हो वो आपके current job role से ज़्यादा match कर रहा होगा.
Yes, ma'am.
Not with the thing that we did in the past. Because generally हम पास में junior ज़्यादा होते हैं, नया starting किया होता है. अभी 5-6 साल के बाद हमने थोड़ा सा seniority gain कर लिया है, थोड़ा सा और experience gain कर लिया है. So we need to mention those latest things in our CV in the first place. So
Yes.
knowledge की जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पर. You can just mention your work experience. The highlight, the heading should be that, and then you can mention your thing.
Yes.
Don't write in paragraph, write in bullet points. Just one line
Yes.
that my job responsibility or my core responsibility was to handle
Yes, ma'am.
process, maybe, जो भी आपने नीचे वाली job में लिखा है. नीचे करो, just scroll down your CV.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just go through that. Yeah. So like this one, you have written current one, right? In January 21, I moved to the travel insurance process and joined the mortgage team. So here you can mention that from January 2021, ये तो ऊपर चला जाएगा duration के अंदर, इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. और जो responsibilities आपने bullet में लिखे हुए हैं, तो ऊपर paragraph हटा दो, उसकी जरूरत नहीं है.
ठीक है, ma'am.
Experience in the US healthcare for claims adjudication, fine. Utilities in healthcare is fine. Customer satisfaction किस लेवल तक था? So अगर customer satisfaction scores लेते थे आपकी organization, generally क्योंकि अगर आप process पे handle करते हैं तो उसका score आता है.
Yes, ma'am. I am working in a blended process in healthcare.
हाँ, so customer satisfaction उन्होंने scores लिए होंगे कि कितना है आपका.
Yes, ma'am.
क्वालिटी डिपार्टमेंट के पास होते हैं जनरली, तो उनसे आप ले सकते हैं. सो सी सैट स्कोर ऑफ, सो लाइक यू वर आस्किंग फॉर जार्गन्स, राइट?
Ma'am,
सो
yes,
सी
I have
सैट
some
हम
course.
लोग जनरली कॉल सेंटर वाली लैंग्वेज में या प्रोसेस जब हम हैंडल करते हैं उसमें हम सी सैट यूज करते हैं वर्ड. सी
Yes,
उसके आगे डैश लगा के सैट, SAT.
yes,
तो
ma'am.
सी सैट जनरली पकड़ लेता है जल्दी से ATS, देन पूरा कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन. सो सी सैट स्कोर ऑफ 7.5 आउट ऑफ 10 या 8.5 आउट ऑफ 10, ऐसे वाले स्कोर्स क्वालिटी डिपार्टमेंट जनरली शेयर करता है.
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
आप उनसे लेकर इसमें मेंशन कर सकते हैं. पीपल मैनेजमेंट यू हैव मेंशन, पीपल मैनेजमेंट विल गो इनटू योर स्किल्स,
Yes, ma'am.
राइट? यहाँ से हट जाएगा. क्वालिटी एंड ऑडिट इज फाइन, बट क्वालिटी एंड ऑडिट ऑफ व्हाट? सो यू नीड टू अगेन एक्सप्लेन इट अ लिटिल बिट, थोड़ा सा बड़ा करके.
Ma'am, audit the claims.
Correct. So just mention that audit and quality assurance of claims.
Yes, ma'am.
Then effectively identify and clearly communicate process, task, timelines, issue, then urgent action items in line with business requirement. इसकी जरूरत नहीं है,
Yes, ma'am.
इसको आप ब्रीफ लिख सकते हैं. Ensuring process, tasks, and timelines as per the business requirements. Simple.
Yes, ma'am.
Then responsible for interacting with the client to get the resolution of the queries raised by the team as senior process. जरूरत नहीं है सीनियर प्रोसेस एग्जीक्यूटिव लिखने की, वो आप डेजिग्नेशन में लिख चुके होगे ऑलरेडी,
Yes, ma'am.
वहां से पिकअप हो जाएगा. रिस्पॉन्सिबल वर्ड दोबारा लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज में हाईलाइट हो रहा है ऑलरेडी. सो जब हम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज लिखते हैं तो हम वर्ड यूज करते हैं जैसे मैनेज, इंश्योर,
Yes, ma'am.
टुक द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ऐसे वाले वर्ड्स हम जनरली ज्यादा यूज करते हैं. सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल हटा देना. रिस्पॉन्सिबल तो कंपनी ने हमें बनाया, बट हमने क्या करा वो हमें मेंशन करना है.
So,
सो
ma'am,
आई इंश्योर, हाँ, सो इंश्योरिंग interacting with clients for queries resolution. Simple.
yes, ma'am.
Last point. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
ऐसे कर दे के आ जाएगा. Certifications can again go into your education. Whatever, अगर ये 3 महीने से ज्यादा का certification है, then you can mention in your education itself.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, ये
Extra,
2021 के हैं सारे.
ये Coursera के हैं. हाँ,
Yes.
so then you can mention them.
Yes, ma'am.
पर देखो आप ऐसे पढ़ रहे हो तो आपको खुद हाईलाइट हो रहे हैं, मतलब दिस इज द क्वेश्चन टू ऑल ऑफ यू. ऐसे सर्टिफिकेशन आप पढ़ रहे हो, आपको ना क्लियरली नहीं दिख रहा है कि कहाँ से क्या किया हुआ है. तो जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मिनेसोटा से किया है आपने,
Yes, ma'am.
सो ब्रीफली मेंशन द टाइटल ऑफ द कोर्स क्या था. तो जैसे इसका है मैनेज ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेस,
Yes, ma'am.
कोर्स का नाम क्या था इसमें,
Ma'am, manage human resources.
राइट? सो मैनेज ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेस को इन्वर्टेड कॉमास में करके लिख देना. उसके
Yes.
आगे छोटा सा डैश लगाना, डैश के आगे यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मिनेसोटा, सिंपल पता चल जाएगा.
Yes,
और ब्रैकेट में कर देना थ्रू कोर्सेरा,
through Coursera. Okay, ma'am.
या सिर्फ ब्रैकेट के अंदर, राइट? तो उसमें कोर्सेरा हाईलाइट हो गया,
Yes.
यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मिनेसोटा हाईलाइट हो गया और कोर्स हो गया. बाकी सब चीजें को कोई फायदा नहीं है. ये वर्ड ऑथराइज्ड, ऑनलाइन, नॉन क्रेडिट, कोई फायदा नहीं होने वाला इसका, कहीं पढ़ने वाला भी नहीं है कोई इसको, राइट? सो थिंग्स दैट इज रीडेबल शुड बी हाईलाइटेड.
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, नीचे वाले में you did the course on human resource analytics, very popular thing which is happening in HR these days. So again, inverted commas,
Yes, ma'am.
human resource analytics, double commas ऊपर, and then you can mention University of California, Irvine, again bracket में Coursera, through Coursera.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple.
Okay, ma'am.
That's it, briefly. Extracurricular activity की कोई जरूरत नहीं है unless you have played on a national or international level.
Yes, ma'am.
If you were a part of school football team as a vice captain, do you want to pursue the same in your career? If not, there is no need for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Blood donation obviously is not required. Took part in National Cadet Corps. हाँ, NCC का आप mention कर सकते हो. That's a good point. Generally, it highlights.
Yes.
You can mention, but not in an extracurricular activity. Mention in your achievements.
Yes, ma'am.
Hobbies की again कोई जरूरत नहीं.
Okay,
We
ma'am.
don't mention hobbies these days. So. एंड अगर हॉबीज मेंशन भी कर रहे हो, हॉबीज एंड इंटरेस्ट, सो लिसनिंग टू म्यूजिक होता है, उसको करेक्ट इंग्लिश करके. सो लिसनिंग टू म्यूजिक इज एन इंटरेस्ट, इट्स नॉट रियली हॉबी, बिकॉज हम सबको म्यूजिक पसंद रहता है. right?
Yes.
So it's more of an interest. Hobbies are generally होती है जैसे आपने रीडिंग बुक्स लिखा है. So books is something that can be a hobby. जब आप बिल्कुल खाली हो आपको मजा आता है उस चीज को पढ़ने के अंदर. बट इफ यू आर राइटिंग रीडिंग बुक्स तो इंश्योर कि अगर आपसे इंटरव्यूअर पूछता है कि कौन सी बुक्स आपने पढ़ी तो आपके टिप्स पे होनी चाहिए कि कौन सी बुक आपने पढ़ी लेटेस्ट
Yes,
या
ma'am.
लास्ट बुक, और उस बुक की समरी अगर कुछ पूछ लेता है तो कोई
Yes.
भी, राइट? ये आजकल बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो रखा है, इंटरव्यूज में हम ये सब पूछ लेते हैं.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
somebody has mentioned all that. Kite flying, I don't really see it as useful for any of the professional. So यहाँ जरूरत नहीं है उसकी mention करने की.
ठीक है मैम.
Yeah, so that's all. You can make the changes as per the format. ये सब की भी जरूरत नहीं है, declaration and all that these days.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? You will see in both the formats we are not using it. So it's not really in trend these days.
Yes, ma'am.
तो आप चेंज करके मुझे एक बार भेज देना दोबारा से on my email. I'll try and change it and send it across to you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Who else wanted to show me your CV?
Can I share my screen now?
Sorry, I could not hear you.
Ma'am, can I share my screen
Yes,
now?
very quickly. Yeah, because we have to complete the other part as well. The interview part is also very important. So very
Ma'am,
briefly,
actually,
I'll just give you.
okay, ma'am. Actually, I had some doubts, ma'am. So that is why the reason is
Sure, sure.
before,
Open it and ask it
yeah.
quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the share screen option.
And I have the share screen option, but it is
Go to
not
that.
showing. Ma'am, done,
Click
but
it.
it is done, ma'am. It is showing app, not the directly screen is coming.
See, open your resume in any of the screen window. When it is share screen, go to that particular window of your CV and share. Click share.
Ma'am, otherwise, if I can directly ask you a question rather than sharing a screen, I am fine. But in a
Sure, no
meanwhile,
problems. You can ask question, no problems. Please go ahead.
ma'am, actually, the thing is, I have a 7.5 year experience. So
Hmm.
for first 2.5 year, I was working in sales and marketing. Then
Okay.
for 5 years, I worked for admin department. Then
Okay.
before getting married, for a very brief time, I worked in a sales department with Byju's. So that was
With
in a
Byju's.
sales
Okay.
that was
Okay.
that job I got from the experience that I had in the first job. That was for 6 8 months. But
Okay.
before getting married, I had to leave that job. So that was for 2 3 months. In 2002, I had to leave that job last year. Now, after a sabbatical, I started working as a part-time trainer because I was a corporate trainer in marketing.
Okay.
So now I am in dilemma that I have a multiple like I have a shifting from one field to another, sales, marketing, then admin, then again for a very brief time it was in sales. Now I'm working as a trainer and educator with a part-time professional.
Okay.
So how my resume should go? Because from last 1 year I haven't prepared any resume. So that was the old resume that I was using, and I made
Sure.
it with the help of LinkedIn only.
So the
So that
answer is that where you want to create your career in, which field? You
ma'am,
need to
current
sort that out now. So whether you want to pursue as a trainer in the same field that you're doing as a part-time, see, because right now it should not look like from your resume that you are doing a job, right? You can pick up any job which is there for money. There has to be a career progression which needs to showcase in your resume really clearly. I understand we women go through this, marriage thing, then change of career, then again maternity होगा, तब भी change of career होगा या break हो जाएगा. So these things happens with us. So breaks in women's CV is fine. Most of the people really accept that. But changing function too many times, too frequently is not really acceptable. So try and see where exactly you want to create a career. Give it a thought, right? बहुत सारे online psychometric test available हैं which will help you out in selecting कि कहाँ आपका जो interest है या आपके जो psychologically, क्योंकि क्या होता है हमारे अभी तो हमें दिख रहा है सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा, that some people are doing HR, so let me do HR. some people are going into Byju's, let me try and do in Byju's, right? Byju's ने वैसे भी बहुत सारे graduates को भी job दे दी अच्छे package पे, salary चाहे नहीं देते थे उतनी ज़्यादा, I know about that, right? So वो गड़बड़े हुई हैं, I understand in your career, but what I'm trying to say is for long-term perspective, you need to ensure that everything that you have experienced so far, as well as the knowledge that you have gained, which is basically our qualifications that we generally gain, वो मैच कर रही है आपके करियर हाईलाइट से या नहीं कर रही है. हमारे सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में ना हमारे टीचर्स, हमारे फैमिलीज और हमारा पीयर ग्रुप ये सब चीजें डाल देता है जो लेटेस्ट चल रही होती है. But somehow our interest doesn't really match. That's why you will see many people do engineering pressure में आकर या MBBS कर लेते हैं, but they don't really become successful. So idea is to become successful in whatever you as a individual, because जरूरी नहीं है कि everybody will become Archana in HR, right? They would need Suman also. They would need Jaspreet in accounts. They would need other people. सबका अपना अलग अलग highlight होता है. So you need to find that highlight. And there are
Ma'am,
many tests which are available online. So I'll
ma'am,
send you the
actually,
link. Hmm.
my challenge was that since I wanted to pursue career in admin only, so I worked as a senior admin officer. I worked for like 4 Australian colleges while I was based in India only. So
Okay.
after I shifted from Punjab to Gwalior, so it is a mostly Gwalior is a city that is an old city that is
Hmm.
mostly business based. So they don't have a position for admin department to be honest. So
Yeah,
there is a
I
job
don't
for
think so. Hmm.
receptionist or for a front desk job that are not fitting to my my category.
Fire.
That's what I have been doing. I was working in softwares like Teams and other kind of
Hmm.
software. So that through that way, I was there searching for 1 year. Then I, rather than having nothing like something is better than nothing. So I had to take the up this part time. But now I have took up a course in digital marketing for a
Hmm.
so I also during this time and I have learned 2 languages that is French and Spanish out of hobby. That is my
Hmm.
hobby. I love to learn new languages. So I am skeptical that if I am putting this hobby or anything certification of my languages in my resume, so I
Hmm.
get a lot of calls ma'am, based on sales, marketing, and other kinds of jobs. And admin jobs are very less. So I have a 5 year experience in that. So my
Because you may
challenge
not be mentioning that. No, you have to highlight the admin things. And because, change of location has happened. And as you rightly said, that this city may not have too many opportunities for your related job. So don't go for that. Right? You can really change your career. Uh, but again, change of career should happen in a manner that can give you long-term growth. Everybody
right
wants to
ma'am.
become digital marketer, right? But digital marketer को payment कितनी मिलती है? Just find out that, right? Even if you're working in a very well reputed organization, तब भी वहां पर उनकी starting ही 15-20 हजार रुपए से होती है. So it's not
Right.
really a well paid job. So you need to ensure कि अगर आप अपना time दे रहे हो किसी भी चीज में, see, any good job require you to be there for at least 9 hours. ऑन द
Yes,
जॉब.
ma'am.
और उसके अलावा 1-2 घंटा जो हमारा आने जाने में चला जाता है. अगर वर्क फ्रॉम होम करो चलो तो दैट कम्यूटिंग टाइम इज योर सेविंग. 9 hours if you're giving to something and you're not really getting a gain out of it, which is long term growth and long term perspective of you growing as a professional also, then don't do that job. Right? Better is to change career and change career from the perspective that you might earn good money as well and you become successful also. So money obviously is the highlight, but then becoming successful and हमारी personal growth कितनी हो रही है. Because बायजूस अब आपने 8 लाख रुपए के पैकेज पे कर लिया, but what did बायजूस taught you? Nothing, right? They did
Exactly.
not really
Ma'am,
provide good training. They did not really
yes, ma'am.
do well with people. Their behavior was not really good with
I
different
know,
kind
ma'am.
of, right? So these things were there. So you need to ensure that, see, because time is money and right now हम जितना time दे रहे हैं किसी भी चीज के अंदर, that has to be
Exactly.
calculated in terms of money.
Yes, ma'am. So to be honest, ma'am, being I think you have put a right point that we are going to get some sabbaticals on one or other part of life being a woman. So this
Absolutely.
is something, yes. So this is something is bothering me. Like, should I? involve my
No,
MCA
mention it very
certification
openly that you got
and
married,
languages.
so you shifted from
And as
Punjab to
soon
this
as
place.
I start mentioning this qualification thing, I get more of a sales or marketing opportunity rather than admin. I have clearly mentioned it for a long like period of time I have worked. In admin, the stage is and the salary doesn't matter much. But whatever I'm earning in 4 hours in a part-time job, that I have to do in a 9 hours job. That is a
Hmm.
scenario, Karan. So digital marketing or any other certification that I'm doing right now, that is for the upgradation of a skill. So that at least if I'm not going out, even I'm sitting at home, I can get even if the start is later. The payment
Hmm.
is much lesser than the amount I was getting either in Byju's or other organizations. So I have to restart all over again. But is it going to help or is it going to confuse recruiter that she also has a
It is going to
proficiency kind
really
of thing?
confuse. See, too many things in one CV in such a short period of time will confuse you know,
And over a
and why are
period
you
of
getting
time.
sales and marketing की job more? Because obviously you worked in that, but sales and marketing एक ऐसा field है जो हर organization में available रहता है हमेशा. So you must
Right.
be getting that. That's the reason. But I'll have to go through your resume once, right?
Right.
And then I'll try and suggest you changes. So
And
just send
I'll
it across to
email
me on
you.
my email. Yeah, yeah, no
Right.
problems.
Right.
All of you
Thank
can
you.
send it on my email, not an issue.
Right.
I'll share my email ID in the chat so you can copy it and then you can do that. I'm just mentioning right away. You can see that? All right. So let's move ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, complete नहीं हो पाएगा. Right? I want to. This will not be repeated. Okay. So now, after your resume is done, now the next step we generally take is appearing for the interview. So next point is that, you know, your resumes are selected and you get a call for clearing the interview. So this is how the interview process should look like for an interviewee for perspective. एक तो होता है हमारा perspective जहाँ हमें लोगों को select करना है, एक होता है when we are giving interviews. So what you need to prepare is these three things very importantly. I keep saying it to, you know, a lot of training programs that I conduct. Uh, all the institutions and universities we visit, we tell them preparation is the key. You need to prepare. You need to, you know, mug down so many things. रटना पड़ता है जिसको हम कहते हैं ना. आपकी जॉब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज आपको इस तरीके से इस कदर से रटी होनी चाहिए दैट यू वुड बी एबल टू एक्सप्लेन इट so properly in your interview that there is no chance of creating a mistake. So prepare thoroughly, prepare in a manner that the job posting which is there, जिसके basis पर आपको resume select हुआ है, वो सब जितना भी उसके अंदर लिखा है वो सब आपको कहीं ना कहीं आता हो. If you don't know something, try and figure it out कि मैं उसको कैसे करूंगा. Kadungi, right? Whatever is the case. So that has to be there. Also, third point in preparation is research about the company. As much research as you can do. Now, with the help of internet, you can easily get to know about even the profit and loss balance sheet as well of the company. कितना वो profit बना रहे हैं, कितना नहीं कर रहे हैं, employees खुश हैं, नहीं हैं. You know, Glassdoor से आपको ये पता चल जाता है reviews of the organization very openly. And Glassdoor is similar platform जैसे हमारा LinkedIn है, Snapchat है. It's very open. People can really go and write the reviews about the company, and companies cannot remove that. Right? So you can really write good things about or bad things about the company, and you can read and get to know the genuine opinion of people before you are actually applying for the job. You can get to know through research that who is going to be your boss, who is going to take your interview. उनका आप LinkedIn प्रोफाइल चेक कर लो कि वो किस तरीके के इंसान है, राइट? सो ये सब चीजें थोड़ी बहुत रिसर्च से इजीली यू कैन गेट टू नो एंड यू कैन क्रैक योर इंटरव्यू really well if you do your research properly. Then आता है सेकंड, प्रैक्टिस एंड प्रैक्टिस एंड प्रैक्टिस. इट्स लाइक यू नो, जैसे विद्या बालन कहती है ना, एंटरटेनमेंट एंटरटेनमेंट एंटरटेनमेंट, सो इट हैज टू बी प्रैक्टिस 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 फॉर इंटरव्यू वेरी थॉरली. जो भी आपको बोलना है, इफ यू वांट टू प्रैक्टिस इट थ्रू द हेल्प ऑफ अ कोच और प्रोफेशनल कोच हायर करके या किसी फ्रेंड के साथ. बट जितने भी कॉमन क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, यू नो, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल एक्चुअली फेल एंड गेट कंफ्यूज्ड और गेट नर्वस इन द कॉमन इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस एज वेल. जैसे कि नॉर्मल सा क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट इज योर स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेस. मैक्सिमम एचआर, क्योंकि मैक्सिमम एचआर ने भी यही सब पढ़ा होता है, तो वो यही पूछते हैं कि व्हाट इज योर स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेस। अब हमसे इस सवाल तो पूछ लिया, बट हाउ डू आई आंसर इट करेक्टली, यू नो। हम जनरली क्या भूल जाते हैं अपने स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेसेस में। लेट मी टेक एन एग्जांपल फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ यू, so quickly tell me what's your strength and weaknesses. So let's start with Suman. What is your strength?
Ma'am,
Two strength.
strength is, yes, ma'am, learning nature and keen to learn new things, and then I'm little emotional. That is coming in a weakness. The strength and weakness both. And one other weakness is, ma'am, I am having some lethargic attitude towards
ये
new
सब
things
बोलोगे
that are
तो
not
कंपनी में
exciting.
कैसे हाईलाइट करेंगे ना, so ये सब नहीं बोलना
वो
है।
तो नहीं-
See, the employer or the HR wants to hear from you your strength in terms of doing your job, how good you are in that. So जो भी हम अपनी core competencies में mention करेंगे resume में, वो हमारी strength है, right? For example, handling people properly is a strength that you can showcase. और आपने अगर पास्ट में किया है तो आपके पास उसके एग्जाम्पल्स भी होंगे कि दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव डन. And your
people
weakness
connect.
is like I am sensitive and I am emotional. You can mention it in a good way. तो आपकी वीकनेस भी है, पर आप उसको हाईलाइट करके किस तरह बता रहे हो कि आई रियली गेट इमोशनल एंड सेंसिटिव टुवर्ड पीपल्स नीड. बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट है. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जनरली एम्पैथेटिक लोगों की जरूरत होती है, राइट? डोंट शो द नेगेटिव साइड ऑफ एनी ऑफ योर वीकनेसेस. वीकनेसेस नेवर मीन्स कि आपकी वीकनेसेस हाईलाइट हो रही हो. वीकनेस के अंदर हम कैसे वर्ड्स यूज करते हैं, दैट आई कैन गेट एग्रेसिव ऑल्सो इफ रिक्वायर्ड. सो इसका क्या मीनिंग है कि एग्रेसिव हो सकते हैं कि मैं सेल्स में हूँ, नंबर्स के साथ खेल सकते हैं, जरूरत है, टाइमलाइन आ गई है, बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट टाइमलाइंस है सर पे, जिनको डेडलाइंस कहते हैं, वो फिनिश करने हैं, तो मैं बहुत एग्रेसिव होकर काम कर सकती हूँ. सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन योर strength and weaknesses in a manner. So strength, clearly just two words, this and this, whatever it can be. Weakness, again two words, this and this. Again, weaknesses can be the strength only, which you can use it in a manner professionally. Vaidehi, what's your strength and weaknesses? Quickly.
Ma'am, I've I've just given an interview, and so there, what strength and weakness I had mentioned is, my strength is that I am honest, dedicated, teamwork. I believe in teamwork, and my weakness is that I am too honest, and it is very hard for me to get off a task if any given to me. So I'm very
Good.
dedicated to a task.
This
So
is
that
nice.
is
हाँ, so this is how you need to highlight your weaknesses कि आपका strength की है वो, and you feel that it's a weakness sometimes, but for organization it is always a strength. So correct. But again, not more than two strengths should be highlighted at one point in time.
okay.
या ऑनेस्ट की जरूरत नहीं है, हम सभी ऑनेस्ट होते हैं, और जनरली हम सब ऑनेस्ट नहीं होते हैं. हमारे सबके टायर पंचर होते हैं लेट होने पर, हम सबके घर में कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है. सो नेवर मेंशन ऑनेस्टी. मोर देन ऑनेस्टी आई फील बीइंग एजाइल इज द बेटर वर्ड. सो बीइंग एजाइल मतलब दैट आई कैन change myself according to the
Correct.
situation for the organization. So this is what you can write as a strength. So you are honest also, but sometimes when it is required for not being honest for the organization's sake, then also you can do that. So agile is better. Dedication is fine. Good. And team, obviously, team worker is good. All right. Anjan, what's yours? Strengths and weaknesses, quickly.
Handling people in a good way.
Okay. So
Okay.
people management, है ना? Handling people in a good way is people management.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can mention that.
Yes, ma'am.
And what else?
No, I'm very cool-minded person.
Sorry, which minded person? I could not hear that word.
I can deliver the task on time. I'm very disciplined and punctual.
Discipline and punctual we don't want. Yeah, can deliver on time is good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what's your weaknesses?
I'm short-tempered.
Don't mention that. Like I said, short tempered को आप aggressive कह सकते हो अपने आप को, but
Yeah.
aggressive in a more progressive way. aggressive in a progressive way manner that team management के टाइम पे कभी हमें जरूरत पड़ जाती है थोड़ा सा aggression दिखाने की, गुस्सा हो जाने की, so that you can use.
Yes, ma'am.
So that ways you can explain.
Yes, ma'am.
In weakness, you can mention that you can get aggressive
Yes, ma'am.
for the organization, and this is how you can explain that I can get aggressive in terms of achieving my goals for the organization. Simple.
Yes, ma'am.
Short temper is not really a good word,
Yes, ma'am.
right, in the resume. ठीक है?
Ma'am, since we are mentioning aggressive in resume, if someone asks a question, let's say some HRs are so indulging, then they say that how you get aggressive in personal life or so. Like, is the word right fit for the aggressive word apart
Which
from
one?
the sales or marketing? Like aggressive, if I have to mention in my weakness, so that I
No,
get
you
aggressive.
cannot. In HR, you cannot be aggressive,
And
even if
in
you want
other
to be.
management or
In
admin
administration,
job,
you can be because you're managing a lot of vendors. You are managing housekeeping, you're managing facility, so you can really do that. Even in logistics, you can mention. HR में हम चाहकर भी aggressive नहीं हो सकते, right? Because you are managing people in a manner that nobody else is.
तो
You are
मैम
more
व्हाट
to
कुड बी द राइट फिट फॉर अदर वर्ड रादर देन एग्रेसिव, जहाँ पे है कि अगर मुझे काम के लिए आई हैव
aggressive
टू,
सबके लिए नहीं है ना. अगर आप aggressive हो ही नहीं तो क्यों मेंशन करना है?
नहीं मैम, aggressive is like short temper. Sometimes it is the kind of my flaw also. Like I am also short tempered at the times when something is not getting done. So at the job part, it's something like I have something inside me that I want to get this thing done. तब तक चैन नहीं आता जब तक
हम्म.
काम ना हो जाए. तो मुझे वो काम करना ही है, चाहे जैसे भी करना है, before the deadline ends. So it is not sales marketing, but the task assigned has to be done
Done in
before
a proper
time.
manner. Yeah.
So how I can mention it as a weakness also, but it should look like a strength also
So
without
weakness में
mentioning
लिखो aggressive towards goals. Simple.
aggressive towards me.
That I can get aggressive towards my goals and explain in this manner. And just
Right,
write full line. Aggressive towards my goals. Professional
right,
goals.
right.
That will help you out.
मैम आई हैव वन क्वेश्चन मैम. थोड़ा सा
Yes, please.
मैम मेरी वीकनेस थोड़ा ये है कि मैं थोड़ा स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड हूँ. एज एन एचआर जो मेरे लिए एक स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड होना बिल्कुल ठीक भी नहीं है.
बिल्कुल ठीक है. हम लोग को तो होना चाहिए ना. HR में तो स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्डनेस इज गुड. सी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्डनेस कैन नॉट बी योर वीकनेस और स्ट्रेंथ. इट कैन बी बेसिकली इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट दैट यू आर स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड.
नहीं मैम,
बट
जैसे
स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्डनेस के साथ अगर आप पोलाइट हो और फर्म हो वो बहुत जरूरी है.
नहीं मैम,
You
जैसे
cannot really be strict and you cannot really be rude to people.
नहीं मैम, जैसे मैं डिप्लोमेटिकली वो चीज आंसर नहीं कर पाता हूँ. सपोज जैसे कि मैं एकदम किसी को स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड बोल दूंगा कि मुझे आपसे ये तकलीफ है तो आप ये काम नहीं करोगे. पर मेरे को जहां तक मेरे फ्रेंड्स, एक बार धीरज सर ने मुझे यही बात बोली कि एज एन एचआर आप नहीं बोल सकते, आप थोड़ा सत्यवादी हरिश्चंद्र ना बने तो वो ज्यादा अच्छा है.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली करेक्ट. सत्यवादी हरिश्चंद्र तो नहीं कहते हम लोग ऐसा. वो होना भी चाहिए, बट यस यू कैन नॉट बी ब्लंट इन अ मैनर दैट पीपल गेट हर्ट. So you
Yes.
need to learn the art of communication. See, that is why we go for different communication skills courses. So communication skills courses does not really mean that you need to learn English as a language.
Yes.
English language learn करना is very different and very difficult at this stage. But communication, the art of communication can be learned by any professional, and it should be.
Yes, ma'am.
See, the more you progress in your career, you need to become more humble. So maybe at the start of the career, हम लोग भी ऐसे ही थे. Very aggressive, very short-tempered. But over a period of time, we learned these things that aggression or short-temperedness will not really solve the problem, especially in the field that we are. So HR में रहकर आपको बहुत patience की जरूरत होती है, बहुत patience,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Because people will come to you for different problems, and if you're not solving their problems, giving them time, most people want कि आप सिर्फ सुन रहे हो उनको. So listening is a very important part of the communication skills. So that has to be inculcated. And not diplomatically talking to people, but talking to people in a manner that they don't get hurt. Their emotions do not get hurt, their feelings do not get hurt while you're talking to them. So that needs to be ensured. So how your politeness can come into a play is how you need to learn that art.
Yes,
Again, as I said, practice it. The more you practice it, स्पेशली इन फ्रंट ऑफ द मिरर. सी मिरर के सामने रखकर बात करना ना, ये मेरा बहुत पुराना टेक्निक है जो मैं पता नहीं कितने सालों से ट्रेनिंग में भी यूज करवाती हूँ लोगों से. प्रोफेशनल ट्रेनिंग हम स्पोकन इंग्लिश की या कम्युनिकेशन की दे रहे होते हैं तब भी हम ये यूज करते हैं। मिरर एक ऐसी चीज है जहां आप अपने आप के जेस्चर्स देख सकते हो, बॉडी लैंग्वेज देख सकते हो आप बात करते हुए, आपकी आंखें, आपके हैंड जेस्चर्स, मुंह कैसे खुल रहा है, ये सब चीजें आपको सामने दिखाई दे जाता है। सो देन यू कैन वर्क रियली प्रोफेशनली ऑन दैट, बिकॉज अपने से ज्यादा बड़ा क्रिटिक कोई होता नहीं है, राइट? अगर आपकी आंखें बहुत ज्यादा ऐसे ब्लंक कर रही है, मिरर में आपको दिख जाएगा। आपका मुंह जरूरत से ज्यादा खुल रहा है तो दिख जाएगा। आप जरूरत से ज्यादा सीरियस दिख रहे हो मिरर के अंदर तो भी आपको पता चल जाएगा। यू कैन नॉट बी दैट, यू नो, लुकिंग लाइक दैट। तो ये सब चीजें प्रैक्टिस से आएंगी। ट्राई एंड स्पीक इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज या जिस भी भाषा में आप कम्युनिकेट करना चाहते हैं। मैटर इज कि क्या क्या पॉइंट आपको कम्युनिकेट करना है, वो सामने वाले को समझ आना चाहिए अच्छे से। दैट्स ऑल, दैट्स द आर्ट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन
यस मैम,
एंड विदाउट गेटिंग हर्ट।
यस मैम, थैंक यू।
देन इसका थर्ड पॉइंट आता है जो हम देख रहे हैं, मैनेजिंग नर्व्स। सो मैनेजिंग नर्व्स का क्या मीनिंग है यहाँ पर? दैट यू हैव टू ensure that your nervousness and the butterflies in the stomach is not really showing in the interview. That has to be done because बहुत सारे लोग नर्वस हो जाते हैं इंटरव्यू देने के टाइम पे, चाहे कितना भी एक्सपीरियंस हो जाए, राइट? सो यू नीड टू इंश्योर दैट यू आर नॉट लुकिंग दैट नर्वस, एंड इवन इफ यू आर, टेक योर टाइम, reach before time of the interview, spend some time, have water, sit down, relax. Breathing exercises really helps in this particular time period. And whenever you're approaching somebody in the room, you need to sound and look really confident. राइट? इसीलिए हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा एचआर में सुना होगा आप लोगों ने कि हम लोग पॉपुलर हैं बहुत ज्यादा इस चीज के लिए कि कपड़े बहुत अच्छे होने चाहिए। यू नो, योर पर्सनालिटी शुड स्पीक अबाउट व्हाट यू आर एंड हु यू आर। कपड़े मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि ब्रांडेड पहनकर ही जाना है इंटरव्यू में। 100 रुपए का कपड़ा भी आपकी पर्सनालिटी पे अच्छा लग सकता है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हाउ यू आर कैरिंग इट योर सेल्फ। सो योर कॉन्फिडेंस should be speaking the language of your body. Your gestures should be showing that what you are in terms of, you know, how confident you are, right? अब नेक्स्ट पॉइंट पर हम आते हैं। सॉरी, जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकंड, मेरे बैटरी कंप्यूटर का इज जस्ट गॉन टू लो। जस्ट गिव मी 1 second, I'll just put that. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Hi, Saurabh.
Sorry, ma'am. Actually, I just find mail instead of
I can't hear you. Can you write it in the chat so that I
Sure,
can?
ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah, just type it. Thank you so much. Okay, so next slide talks about identifying and overcoming interview anxiety. So same points that we talked about in nervousness should now come here. It talks about how you can recognize your anxiety. Because most of the time, what happens, even without realizing ourselves, we fail our interviews purely because we are very nervous. We have anxiety, we could not really perform well. हमें बाद में जाके लगता है कि अरे ये तो मुझे आता था, still I could not answer, right? ये सबके साथ होता है. So you need to understand that what are the points that triggers anxiety in you, and you need to relax over a period of time. Then second is relaxation techniques. I still say in my every training program to university students or people who are preparing for the interview is you need to use breathing exercises for your relaxation. As a relaxation technique बहुत काम कर देती हैं, बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा असर करती हैं. You need to practice that. हिंदी में उनको योग में हम लोग प्राणायाम कहते हैं. तो प्राणायाम को आप जितना प्रैक्टिस करोगे, जितना अपनी लाइफ में, बहुत सिंपल सी एक्सरसाइजेस है, 1 2 3 ब्रीथ काउंट करना है, एंड देन यू विल बी एबल टू handle that stress really well. If you want to take a very small session of it right now, I can do it, but I need to ensure that you are all doing it. Cameras on nahi hai, so मैं देख नहीं सकती हूँ. But if you want to really practice it, let's start with very quick breathing exercises. I'll do the counting and then you'll have to do it. And this can not just be useful for your interview anxiety, it is good for anxiety for any purposes. Even if personal life में कुछ कर रहा है, कोई भी चीज आपको प्रॉब्लम दे रही है, किसी के साथ झगड़ा हो जाता है, किसी के साथ बातचीत खराब है, कुछ भी, जो भी चीज आपको एंजाइटी देती है, दिस ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइजेस एवरी मॉर्निंग फॉर 5 minutes कैन रियली हेल्प यू काम योर नर्व्स ऑल द टाइम. सुबह 5 मिनट प्राणायाम करना इसीलिए बेनिफिशियल होता है कि पूरे दिन भर के लिए हम सॉर्टेड हो जाते हैं. राइट, सो हाउ आर वी गोइंग टू यूज इट? If you're sitting on a chair, on a sofa, just try and put your feet down on the earth. Put the feet straight on the earth. और नीचे बैठे हैं अगर, तो it's much better. क्योंकि नीचे बैठ के तो बहुत अच्छे से होती है. Right? So like I'm sitting on a chair, so both the feet should be down, touching the earth properly, flat. If you have something in your hand, just remove all those things. Just sit nicely. Put your hands in your lap in a very relaxed format. Now you can close your eyes if you want to. If you want to keep it open, you can for the first time, and I am showing you how it's to be done. So now on the count of 1, we take inhale. Keep this breath under your stomach while I'll count 1, 2, 3. And then you exhale when I count again 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, you exhale. So I cannot do both. I cannot show you and I cannot count. So mentally you can hear me counting. I'll do the count here and then you will do the relaxation. I mean breathing. So 1, long breath inside, which is inhale. Keep it in your stomach. 1, 2, 3. And then exhale slowly with count 3. Got it? Now I'll just do the counting and you can show me if you want to. So on the count of 1, let's breathe. Inhale. Pause for 3. 1, 2, 3. Then exhale. 1, 2, 3. Do it 5 times. Inhale. 1. Fill your stomach. Stay like this. 1, 2, 3. Now exhale. 1, 2, 3. So when you are exhaling, your stomach go flat. When you're inhaling, your stomach go little low. It blows up. One more time. Pause. The longer these pauses are, जितना भी ये पॉज जो हम कर रहे हैं, जिसके अंदर हम ना इनहेल कर रहे हैं ना एक्सहेल, ये सांस हमारे अंदर है, उतना ही ज्यादा रिलैक्सेशन आएगा. So slowly you can practice it till 16. अभी हम 3 कर रहे हैं. Then now exhale. 1, 2, 3. Initially, if you are doing it for the first time, any kind of pranayama, अगर आप exhale करते वक्त अगर ये आवाज निकालेंगे, so that would be much better. From the mouth you can exhale. It will help you practice and count the breaths. You want to do it one more time properly? Just do it one more time so that you know you practiced it well. Inhale. Keep it there. 1, 2, 3. Now exhale. 1, 2, 3. If any one of you is feeling relaxed right now, you can let me know, or else practice it in the morning. Every day you can do that. So this is from my yoga classes that I'm teaching you this, but yeah, this is a relaxation technique It's very good for everybody in general also. So you can practice it. It will help you calm down immediately anywhere you are. So even if you are there for the interview, 5 minutes you have in time, 2, 3 breathing breaks you take, and then you will be able to easily crack the interview nicely. स्लोली जो ये 3 वाला काउंट हमने किया है इसको आप 4 पे ले जाओ 4 4 4 देन 5 5 5 देन 6 6 6 जो सबसे ज्यादा बेटर होता है जिसको जो योगा में सबसे ज्यादा अच्छा माना जाता है वो 16 16 माना जाता है सो जब आपकी चेस्ट या आपका पेट 16 ब्रेथ को अपने अंदर रख सके सो दैट मीन्स यू हैव ग्रोन टू अ डिफरेंट लेवल फिर किसी भी तरीके का गुस्सा या किसी भी तरीके की एंजाइटी या स्ट्रेस आपको परेशान नहीं करेगा लाइफ लॉन्ग देन थर्ड पॉइंट इसका कहता है एग्जाइटी का इंटरव्यू से पहले दैट योर मेंटल प्रिपरेशन हैज टू बी डन इन अ नाइस मैनर so whatever we have said right now that your resume should reflect everything about your personality you need to understand that being authenticated is very important जब हम लोगों को कॉपी करके कुछ काम करना शुरू कर देते हैं that you know that person has written हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा उसका रिज्यूमे फॉर्मेट हमने कॉपी कर लिया बट हमें वो आता है या नहीं आता है ये तो हमने चेक ही नहीं किया ना so it's very important to see what you know and be authentic. What you know. So write that thing down really clearly well and then very cleverly, mug it down as well. Practice it so that whenever there is an interview, you're confident enough. जितना हम practice करते हैं ना, हमारा confidence level बढ़ जाता है. क्योंकि वो चीज हम 50 बार अपने दिमाग में रिपीट कर चुके होते हैं, मुंह से रिपीट कर चुके होते हैं. So you will be able to crack down that interview really well. तभी ऐसा होता है ना हमारे साथ कि जब हम 6 7 इंटरव्यूज कर लेते हैं ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 2 3 इयर्स तो हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल ऑटोमेटिकली हमारा स्ट्रेस लेवल कम हो जाता है नेक्स्ट इंटरव्यू में जाने से पहले राइट सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट that you practice mental preparation is done really well about everything that you have whether it is your strengths weaknesses your problem solving challenges that you have handled in the organization and everything about the job responsibilities that you have mentioned फिर आता है प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर कॉमन इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन सो यहाँ मैंने सिर्फ ये 4 दिखाए हैं बट दीज आर नॉट 4 जनरली हम 20 क्वेश्चंस का प्रिपरेशन कराते हैं इंटरव्यू स्किल्स का जब हम कोई सेशन लेते हैं उसमें टाइम लगता है सो वो 2 घंटे में चला जाता है इसीलिए हमने यहाँ बहुत ब्रीफली रखा है सो टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट वी गेट टू नो फ्रॉम द इंटरव्यूअर्स so let's practice it if you want to maybe we can start with Jaspreet, you want to answer that? Suppose I am your interviewer, I'm asking you this question. So Jaspreet, tell me something about yourself. How are you going to answer that?
I'm very organized
Your
and
voice is not
engaging
coming
person.
clearly. I lost you completely. No, no sound is coming. I can just see you, that's all. No problems. You can just check it. In the meantime, let me ask this question to Suman. Yeah, Suman, you want to answer that?
Yes, ma'am, I can introduce myself. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Kumar. I'm a professional with an experience of 7.5 years. Currently, I'm working as an educator with Education Villa. And study-wise, I have done my engineering in biotechnology in 2014. I have a proficiency in 5 languages, and my hobbies are listening music, gardening, and traveling. So this is all about me. And I hail from Punjab. Currently, I'm based in Punjab. So this is all about.
And how this interview, I mean, I'm not asking as an interviewer, now as a session taker, I'm asking you, how do you think this introduction about yourself talks about your professional qualification?
And that depends. Basically, I was not told that what kind of interview is this because the post is not
That's
mentioned.
okay. That's
So
okay.
that's why.
हम यहाँ
Otherwise, I
पर
can.
सिर्फ अपने बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. See, when we ask this question as an HR, tell me about yourself, we want to know how Suman is and what Suman is other than what is written in the CV.
Right.
रिज्यूमे मैं आपका पढ़
So,
चुकी हूँ ऑलरेडी, है ना? आई नो व्हाट्स योर क्वालिफिकेशन, कहाँ आप काम कर रहे हो. सो अदर देन दैट, व्हाट आई डोंट नो अबाउट सुमन, आई वांट टू नो मोर अबाउट इट.
right.
जनरली दिस
So
इज द
freelance.
आंसर.
So,
Yes.
so
So that's the
I
answer
am.
to the question.
So should I try it once? I'm just correct me.
Please do that. Yes.
So, okay, so ma'am, I'm an ambitious person. So I have a keen learning towards learning new languages, and I am always dedicated towards my work. So currently, since I'm working as an educator, so I'm continuously upgrading my skills using
Mhm.
different platforms,
Okay.
and I have a very hard, dedicated approach towards whatever the task that has been assigned to me. And I try to complete all the tasks within timeline, and always I try to update myself as per the standards of industry in which I am working. So this is all about
See, much better ना, पहले वाले से ज्यादा better sound हुआ खुद को ही, है ना?
right.
So this is how we need to practice it, that if you are asking about me, I need to be very sure of who I am. Right?
Right.
Over the period, what tells Suman about Suman? Right? What explains Suman much better? Because it's not a personal interview. It is not for the marriage. It is not for wedding. It is not for something else. It's totally about professional. So how much we can talk about our professional selves is what we want to know, right? You can also highlight about your interest in this one, but your interest should be that, last week I went for a travel trip. We went with the friends. कौन सी जगह गए थे वो mention कर सकते हो. So anything that highlights. See, people wants to see your personality through this question. So how good you're able to answer that is basically what cracks the interview really well.
Right.
Okay, so let's move to the next one. Then आता है, why are you interested in the job? All right, so let's try with Anjan.
Yes,
You want
ma'am.
to answer this? Yeah.
Ma'am, I have no answer. Quite confusing.
You can close your camera. I think जैसे आपका camera on होता है आपकी आवाज नहीं आती है. So you can close the camera and talk. No problems.
Yes, ma'am. So actually, I have 5 years experience in different field, but I know it is quite late to start a career in HR, but I am good in handling people in a good way and deliver task on time. But my weakness about is that I get aggressive to achieve a task in a good manner. So I think that HR profession is good for me.
First thing, never say negative.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's too late. Why are you saying it? You know, let the interviewer think whatever they want to think.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can just talk about that. Why are you interested in job? That, HR I really loved. I saw one of my colleague handling HR problems for the people, and that's when it, got into my attention. And that's when I decided that I really want to make my career in human resources purely with उसके 3 points, कोई भी अच्छे जो आपको अच्छे लगते हैं HR में,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
But it should not be talking to people. ये बहुत कॉमन आंसर दिया जाता है HR के लिए, so it's not really a very good answer. I love talking to people, that's why I'm in HR. You don't really have to say that. You're a problem solver. You are empathetic towards people's problem. ये आप कह सकते हो. You are aware about the compliances. That's why. Or government rules and regulations really takes your interest, and that's why you want to shift to HR. So anything which talks logically about this particular profession, you can talk about those 3 things as a highlight,
Yes, ma'am.
right? बहुत अच्छा आंसर हो सकता है इसका. So somebody asked me, let's start with last ask another questions. I mean, let's ask Vaidehi this question. So Vaidehi, how do you want to answer this one?
Hello. The question was, how do I introduce myself? Or
No, why are you interested in the job?
oh, why am I interested in the job? I'm sorry, I lost there. Okay.
No problem.
So I would. So if my interest is training, so if somebody, if I'm giving a training manager's interview, I would say that I am more of a people's person. I like interacting. I like public speaking. And moreover, public speaking, I like interaction with people. And again, at the same time, I would like to, share the knowledge which I have gained over the years into my industry, in new trainees or into the younger generation to excel more. And I would also want to inculcate the values and the ideas from wherever different in different companies which I have worked with. So I would like to inculcate those values, those ideas, those morals into the new generation or the new management trainees.
What kind of trainings are you interested in? I mean,
So
that's a different question than this one. Sorry, that I'll be able to give you the answer.
okay, so I'm into hospitality and I have worked for over 7 years into hospitality.
Okay.
I have gained experience as an air hostess with the airline. I
Mhm.
have worked with hotels as well.
Okay.
So I used to work with Jereves. So I almost had a global experience over there of hospitality because Jereves was a
Mm.
part of Etihad. So I have a global standard service experience with Jereves. At the same time, I am currently working with the hotel, Sarava Group of Hotels, if you would know. So they have a lot of Indian touch to their services.
Yeah.
And henceforth, if I want to go somewhere, I would want to mix both of the cultures and want to create my own training programs. And I want to inculcate different and new training ideas and training modules for the younger generation who are coming into this industry. At the
So
same
my
time,
question is, are you currently working as a training manager?
so yes, into my current organization, I'm working as so I used to work. I am working as a reservation manager out here, but then my interest always was into training. Looking at that point of view, my company did offer me a training responsibility into my organization, into my current organization, where I train people on each and every subjects and different departments. And now I have landed up into so I had recently given an interview and I have landed up into a job of an assistant training manager into Marriott Group of Hotels.
Very
So,
good. So it's a more of a corporate trainer job, right? That's what it is.
correct. Yes.
Right. So see, because why I'm saying that subject matter expert trainers are different than corporate trainers. So corporate trainers would generally give trainings on how the corporate would look like, how the onboarding would be done, what are the various departments, policies, and all those things, right? And yes, the basic general knowledge about things, hospitality, because you are from that industry. So perfectly well. So how you can answer this question that why are you interested in this particular job? Can be very crisp and very good because you already know and you're very thorough with what you want to do. Right? So using of word inculcate has happened almost 7, 8 times during your this thing. So you need to see over repetition. What happens is that people tend to take these kind of things. Experienced people, right? Generally in HR they do that. So try and find out various vocabulary for a similar word. So instill, impart. Generally हम training के साथ impart training use करते हैं, facilitation use करते हैं, right? Instill training values, ये सब चीजें use करते हैं. So inculcate के ही 4 अलग-अलग words हैं, but we can use it. So the more you are talking, the more words, will go. इन्हीं को हम jargons कहते हैं, right? In the HR language. So for a corporate trainer, if you want to become a trainer, ये सारी की सारी चीजें उसमें you have to start inculcating, right? In your this thing. So it's very important to put some. See, it's really good that you understand all those things. What I wanted was a little, what do I say? A summary of everything that you have just said and in a bullet form while you're speaking also. So in a bullet form, matlab, pehla ye, second ye, third ye, fourth ye. Simple. 4 things. So I have gained experience in both global and Indian culture, and I want to bring training, or maybe I want to become a training manager where I can really combine both and then instill those values so that people under me or in my organization can get an experience of both the cultures simultaneously. something like that, right? So you can obviously change the English or whatever way, but it has to be highlighted कि मैंने क्या gain किया है पहले experience, how I want to use now for this organization, and the reason why I'm interested in this job. Then that your job posting highlights this, and I feel I fit the most suitably to this particular position of because of these three qualities. Simple, right? So with the job posting, matching your qualities, this is for everyone, right? It's very important that whatever the job posting is saying, because you are currently talking about this one position. Tomorrow you may, whether he has given interview in hospitality itself and she got that job. Tomorrow, training manager can remain the same, the position, but the industry can change. So you need to give yourself that much of benefit of knowledge that you can use different kind of industries jargon while you're appearing for the interview, and that's when it comes with the preparation, right? Then the third question it talks about is what are your salary expectations? So now how do you want to answer that? Let's start with Saurabh. So I think you reached home, right?
Right, ma'am. And first of all, ma'am, I'm very sorry to join
No
late
worries.
because
I
we had a board
understand
meeting
it's
today.
Saturday. No problems.
Because
Yeah.
we had a ma'am board meeting today, so that's why.
Okay. So you can go through the YouTube, recording
Right, ma'am.
later on. In case you have any questions, so I have shared my email ID. In case you want to
Okay,
showcase your resume or something, or you have some query, you can always
sure,
write it
ma'am.
to me. Not a problem.
Sure,
Yeah. So okay.
sure,
So
ma'am.
how are you going to answer this question? What is your salary expectation?
Okay, so, ma'am, because I'm looking for a competitive salary that, reflect my qualification and experience.
Mhm.
And, based on my, research and the requirements of this role, as I understand that, because I would expect salary in the range of, something I can, or as per the company standard.
Okay, good. So perfectly well, right? One job posting में generally दिखा होता है salary range most of the organizations, especially in portals. LinkedIn पे नहीं लिखते हैं. They generally say as per the industry standards.
Right.
So you need to search about industry standards क्या कहता है. कुछ industries 23% तक भी दे रही है इस साल hike. कुछ industry 12-15% पे ही अटकी हुई है. So you need to understand the industry hikes really well. That's when you can really negotiate well for these salaries. Also, you need to speak very confidently about the skills that you have. That I feel that my skill set is going to help the organization in these three things. वो आप job posting से उठा लेंगे कि उनको क्या किस लिए चाहिए आप. And when I am utilizing my time in solving the problem for the organization and managing organization goals, I think that company should look after my well-being. Simple. So when you say, so you are actually putting the ball in their court, and they are, then emotionally under the obligation of giving you the salary that you should deserve. Right? Most of the companies generally do that. बाकी तो obviously they have their budgets, तो उसके हिसाब से negotiations होता ही है. In negotiations, never get too aggressive about saying your needs, but you need to learn the art of negotiation again. I'm not sure कि वो portion sir ने cover किया है या नहीं करा है, but we used to do art of negotiation here in this particular segment. तो वो बहुत interesting होता है. वो आप लोग एक बार कोशिश करना पढ़ने की. So art of negotiation tells you कि कैसे आप भी win-win situation में रह सकते हैं. The organization should not feel कि उन्होंने आपको ज़्यादा दे दिया है, आपको ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए आपको कम मिला है. Right? So that is how the negotiations are being done. फिर आता है questions that we have already done. What are your weaknesses? So I have already told you that briefly, that whatever or weaknesses that you're highlighting, in a way, these weaknesses should actually be talking about company's benefit or a commitment कि आप self-improve होके दिखाएंगे. Right? So it's a very challenging question. More than asking strength, I generally ask in my interviews when I take interviews that what's your weakness? Because I know this is the place where people falter. So you need to prepare really well about
I had a
this.
question,
And
ma'am,
then,
in this.
yes, please.
So,
Tell
ma'am,
me.
how to work on work on our weaknesses? Because if I see myself, I found there are many weaknesses I have.
Mhm.
And the first thing which I see is because I am not very good in choosing the words. Actually, what word should like I should say so that the other person should not get aggressive on me or like angry on me. So, majority of the time, because I think that I lose my temper, and or might be because I don't have a good tone of voice. So whether I wanted to say that in a right way, but the other people consider that because I'm like heading him up. So that is the problem which I'm facing from the like from the many years. Although I tried, but in the fluency, it just came out from my mouth. So
See,
that is
when
the
we are, that's why I say, we talked about, I don't know whether you could hear it or not, we talked about preparing and practicing it as well. So for every interview, don't feel that you know everything, right? And it is related to your job. Even now, though I don't really now appear for interviews anywhere, but जब भी हम client meetings के लिए जाते हैं, so what we ensure is that I research about the client really well. Because most of the time, when I'm going for client meeting, I generally deal with founders, the CEOs, all these people. So I try and go through their LinkedIn accounts really well. I get to know कि उनको क्या पसंद है, क्या नहीं पसंद है. I try and check their social media accounts also, so that I get to know about their personalities more. Because when you know somebody's personality a little bit, आपकी research से, then there are chances that in interview you will be able to talk more about those things that is of common interest. राइट सो आई फाइंड आउट अगर वो कौन सी सिटी से पैदा हुए हैं या कहाँ पैदा हुए थे जनरली ऐसा फेसबुक से मिल जाता है या लिंक्डइन से मिल जाता है या कि उनके रिज्यूमे से मिल जाता है सो देन यू ट्राई एंड सी कि आपका कुछ लिंक है या उस सिटी के बारे में आप कुछ जानते हैं सो यू कैन टॉक टू देम अबाउट दोस पर्टिकुलर कॉमन थिंग्स सो ऐसे कुछ कॉमन पॉइंट्स हम निकाल लेते हैं विच बेसिकली टेक्स अवे द स्ट्रेस आउट ऑफ द इंटरव्यू it brings relaxation to both the interviewer and to you as well. So try and talk about those things, but ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि बहुत ज़्यादा चापलूसी हो रही है, right? It should look very professional, and you should not bring it up. It should come automatically somewhere in the interview, right? You should be able to do that. Now coming to the weakness point, weakness, as I said, is a very tricky area. When you start talking about your weaknesses, so your weaknesses as a human being can be many because none of us are perfect, right? So that's perfectly all right. But what is basically people want to hear from you is that all these weaknesses that you have is not going to harm their company in any ways, right? So you have to answer that question really, really in that manner. So like हमने aggression की बात करी कि aggression हो जाता है बहुत ज्यादा बहुत लोग short tempered अंजन ने बोला वो है सुमन ने बोला वो शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड है बट कैसे आप उस शॉर्ट टेम्पर्डनेस को कंपनी के बेनिफिट के लिए यूज कर रहे हो रादर देन giving them that opportunity that the company is not really doing is going to get into a problem because of your temperament issues, right? So that
yeah,
has to
yeah.
be the answer.
So instead of that, but I see myself instead of leadership quality, I have somewhere in the dictatorship quality also. So that this is
Have
actually
dictatorship or leadership?
yes, because no, that is what I am saying that because I don't I don't feel that somewhere like I should show my leadership skills. But many of my colleagues say because when there is a rush, you become a dictator. So that is the feedback they used to give to me.
So dictator in a
You
good
do not
sense or in a
you
negative sense?
I don't understand now actually seriously. I will just tell you the situation that when there is a rush and we need to just submit a report in next 1 or 2 hours. And although I know that because it will take a day, and everyone because I also have a pressure from my boss, and the same pressure or with some filtration I will pass to my to my subordinates. So after the meeting and after everything, so they used to say that it is very difficult for it is very difficult to work with you.
Oh,
And because
difficult
you
to work with you is not really a good thing to hear. Yeah.
right.
So maybe,
So
you are becoming a leader in a good way, but maybe more of a dictator कि ये चाहिए ही चाहिए, something like that you must be saying, right?
right.
बिना कहे भी हो जाती हैं ये सब चीजें. So again, it's an art of communication that you need to practice and see what can be said in a situation where people are already so much of stressed. Right, because stress सबको पता है कि हमारे ऊपर है टाइमलाइन है डेडलाइंस होती है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में वी नीड टू मीट दोस टाइमलाइंस एवरीबडी इज अवेयर But the basic quality of a good leader is that how you take that stress away from the situation. काम तब भी होना है, स्ट्रेस के साथ होगा तो और टफ डिफिकल्टी देगा, बिना स्ट्रेस के होगा then obviously it becomes enjoyment. So maybe you
Right.
ask for a quick snacks for them कि let's have some snacks party quickly before we get down on the work, because next 2 hours are going to be really really critical for us. And my
Right.
success, your success is related to my success, and my success related to the organization success. So these are the few words that we need to keep speaking to the teams also, so that they don't feel burdened. सी
Correct.
आजकल के प्रोफेशनल सेटअप में क्या हो रहा है कॉर्पोरेट्स में, दैट्स व्हाई हम लोगों की ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स में सेल हो रहे हैं, स्पेशली ऑन स्ट्रेस एंड रिलैक्सेशन, इज प्योरली बिकॉज people are going through a lot of stress, both personally as well as
Right.
professionally. राइट, बच्चों के मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं आ रहे, बीवी के साथ झगड़ा हो रहा है, घर में सास बहू की प्रॉब्लम है, इधर ये कुछ चल रहा है, वहां पर कुछ घर चेंज हो रहा है, फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेस है, ऑफिस के स्ट्रेस है, टाइमलाइन नहीं मीट हो रही है, पैसे कम मिल रहे हैं, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी. सो हमारी फ्रस्ट्रेशन कहीं ना कहीं बाहर आनी शुरू हो जाती है व्हेन वी आर इन अ सेटअप लाइक दिस. सो डोंट टेक आउट दोस frustrations on people while you are in that situation. The best as a leader you can do is take away the frustration and stress away from the situation that you are in, right? Try and that empathy factor that we talk about, we keep talking about that, पर वो emotional intelligence किस level का balance करना है हमें हर वक्त, वो बहुत जरूरी रहता है, right? Emotional intelligence balance करना मतलब होता है कि if I am in their shoes, how am I feeling? मुझसे कोई इस तरीके से बात करेगा, how will I feel? So quickly, एक second लगता है इस चीज को evaluate करने में.
Correct.
Every time you're in a situation like that, just evaluate that how much empathy I should need to show. What is the emotional level balance that I need to put into this particular situation, and how I can help people. I am already stressed. My boss is already giving me stress. So my boss may not be a good boss. I can become a good boss, right? That's in my hands. So then don't give that burden to them, but still get the work done. And trust me, the more emotionally connect people become with you, the more chances that their commitment level is high. So that's what the answering to that question, that you can show leadership. See, dictatorship भी leaders में होती है generally, और किसी में नहीं होती है, because dictatorship is something when people are listening to you. आजकल time कहाँ है लोगों के पास सुनने का किसी की, right? So if they are listening to you, that means you are saying something correct. बट अब उसका प्रोसेस कैसा हो रहा है वो आपको लीडरशिप पे कन्वर्ट करना है. लीडरशिप इज ऑल अबाउट गेनिंग पीपल ट्रस्ट, दैट यू नीड टू
Right.
ट्रस्ट, right?
Although I,
Without giving.
although because they used to talk to me since for the 1 to 2 hours daily basis on
Hmm.
daily. So when it comes to the work so they that time I used to receive a very bad feedback.
हाँ, इट्स ओके, दैट्स फाइन. एक दो महीने में एक आध बार गलत कुछ सुनना कुछ गलत बात नहीं है अपने बारे में. बट यस, दीज आर द टिप्स दैट आई हैव गिवन यू. यू कैन चेंज, ट्राई एंड सी इफ दिस वर्क्स विद यू. The practice makes
Thank
it perfect. So that practicing is very important.
Sure, ma'am.
Though we have already crossed the time, but let's see. I just have 2 more slides to show you. So very quickly, I'll take you through that. But this is a very important part, that how your body language and communication skills play a role. Communication skills we have already spoken so much about, so I'm not going into the details again. But body language is something that we all falter while we are preparing or giving interviews. So, you can see some from the picture second, where it talks about how your body language is, किस तरीके से आपको बैठना होता है, वो गलत है. दोनों तरीके A और B जो दिए हुए हैं बीच में, they are both wrong. So you cannot really tilt and sit while you are in interview. You cannot really close your hands and sit in the interview. Your body language should be as relaxed as you are, feeling confident about yourself, right? हम लोग जनरली HR में इसको कहते हैं the art of selling yourself. सो इंटरव्यू बेसिकली क्रैक करना मतलब आपने अपने आप की स्किल्स को कितने अच्छे से सेल कर दिया है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. सो दैट कैन कम ओनली थ्रू प्रैक्टिस ऑफ हाउ यू आर लुकिंग, how confident you are feeling inside, how much you know your content really well, and then about everything about your personality. Don't wear too much of jewelry while you're giving for interview, for both male and female. It is there. Your clothes should be properly ironed. Your socks color should match with your shoes. Right? ये सब बहुत basic सी चीजें हैं. And then your non-verbal gestures and language should be in control. हम बहुत फिजिटी हो जाते हैं जब हम इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ नर्वसनेस। फिजिटी होना मीन्स हमारे बाल हम पकड़ के कुछ कुछ करते रहते हैं, क्लिप्स के साथ, पेन के साथ खेलना शुरू कर देते हैं। समथिंग और द अदर इन आवर हैंड्स वी ट्राई एंड बिकम फिजिटी। The more fidgety you become, the more less confident you become to the other person who is watching you. So it's very important कि eye contact अच्छा बना रहे आपका, बॉडी लैंग्वेज स्ट्रेट हो, बहुत ज्यादा लिथार्जिक नहीं शो कर रही हो, कोई भी बहुत ज्यादा हैंड मूवमेंट करने की जरूरत नहीं रहती है इंटरव्यू के अंदर, एंड योर ड्रेस अप शुड बी रियली नाइस, वेरी नीट क्लीन सिंपल क्लोथ्स। अगर अगेन डिपेंडिंग अपॉन, अगर आप फैशन इंडस्ट्री में जा रहे हो देन अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट, अगर आप नॉर्मल किसी कॉर्पोरेट में जा रहे हो देन अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट। ट्राई एंड रिसर्च, सी बहुत सारी कंपनी के रूल्स अलग अलग होते हैं। आईटी में आप इंटरव्यू देने जाते हो, चाहे एचआर का इंटरव्यू है या एडमिन का इंटरव्यू है, आप आईटी में देने जा रहे हो, आईटी का ड्रेसिंग सेंस पे इतना मैटर नहीं करता है, बट स्टिल यू नीड टू बी इन स्मार्ट कैजुअल्स। So maybe with a smart denim, you can wear shirt or good top, which looks little professional. Also, the color should be like that. बहुत deep cut ना हो, बहुत ज़्यादा revealing ना हो, या बहुत ज़्यादा टी-शर्ट कॉलर वाली छोड़ के दूसरे वाली गोल गले की ना हो। So ये सारी की सारी चीजें छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, but generally हम मिस्टेक्स कर जाते हैं। स्नीकर्स और स्पोर्ट शूज आर क्लियरली अ नो नो फॉर एन इंटरव्यू, चाहे किसी भी लेवल पर जा रहे हो, चाहे वो कंपनी ने लिखा हुआ हो कि हमारा बहुत रिलैक्स्ड ड्रेसिंग कोड हम लोग अलाउ करते हैं, स्टिल यू शुड नॉट wear sneakers for the interview, right? Your shoes should be always leather for men, and for women also should be good sandals or bellies or whatever. Heels should not be more than 2 inches. It should not make sound. जो flats होते हैं shoes की sound नहीं आनी चाहिए किसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म पे चलने पर. So ensure these things are there. ये एक छोटी सी प्री इंटरव्यू चेकलिस्ट है जो हम जनरली शेयर करते हैं लोगों के साथ। 2 hours बिफोर द इंटरव्यू व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, आपका रोड मैप आउट होना चाहिए कि आप किस रूट से जाने वाले हो, सो दैट इट डजंट कॉज यू अननेसेसरली स्ट्रेस। कई बार ऑफिस लेट पहुंचने के चक्कर में हमारा सब कॉन्फिडेंस इधर उधर हो जाता है। देन योर ड्रेस क्लोथ्स शुड लुक क्लीन एंड रेडी, अच्छे से आयरन हो रखा हो वो बहुत जरूरी है, और बहुत ज्यादा टाइट या लूज ना हो, इट शुड फिट यू सो दैट इट डजंट लुक लाइक दैट इट्स नॉट योर क्लोथ्स। Then shower, shave, hair, brush teeth properly. Please do that. A copy of your resume, etc. Take a printout. No matter what the organization says कि हमारे पास copy है, one printout should always be there available with you for the interview. Then 15 minutes before the interview, need to take a strong breath mint. अगर है possible तो आप कर सकते हैं. Check your teeth, tie, hair and zipper very importantly. Maybe take a washroom break and go before you appear for the interview and just check all these things, because कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम ब्रेकफास्ट करके गए होते हैं, लंच करके गए होते हैं, हमारे दांतों पे कुछ लगा रह जाता है, वी डोंट रियलाइज, हमारा टाई टेढ़ा हो जाता है या हमारे हेयर ठीक से नहीं होते हैं, जिपर खुला रह जाता है किसी भी चीज का जो भी हमने पहना है, या बैग की चेन खराब हो जाती है, हाथ में कुछ भी हमारे है, एक बैग और डायरी के अलावा हाथ में कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए, नो वाटर बॉटल्स नथिंग, तो ये सब चीजें हैं देखने के लिए। पुट योर फोन ऑन साइलेंट एंड वाइब्रेट एंड इट शुड बी इन योर हैंड बैग अगर आप फीमेल हैं तो, अगर आप मेल हैं तो इट शुड बी ऑन साइलेंट एंड पुट अक्रॉस ऑन अ टेबल just next to you. You should not be keeping your mobile phones in hand. Then last is visualize yourself crushing it. Again, it's a visualization technique we use in interview these days क्योंकि थोड़ा spiritual side पे ज़्यादा हूँ मैं. So I generally try and teach my trainees that the more visualize you do, the more practice you do, you visualize yourself cracking the interview, the more chances are that you'll be able to do that. जैसे सपना देखते हैं ना, सपने में अपने आप को रिपीट करते देखते हैं कुछ अच्छी चीज और वो हो जाती है, सो विजुअलाइजेशन टेक्निक वर्क्स लाइक दैट। अब now during the interview what you need to do is your dressing up, I mean your clothes should look good while you're entering, just check it before you enter the room. Punctuality is very important, don't be too late for the interview ever, always reach at least 10 minutes before the interview so that you have time for relaxation and go through the company, कैसी चल रहा है, culture कैसा है कंपनी का, कुछ चीजें आप ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं वहां बैठ के। Then building rapport is very important. So even before you enter the interview room, you can actually build the rapport with the representative who is there from HR. You can talk to them, just get to know about the organization a little bit and things like that. And then fourth is your confidence. Just keep your nervousness in check. You should not really sound too much of stressful person. You should not talk very, very nervous while you're going there. So your confidence should be there. So जो आपको relaxation technique सिखाई है मैंने, just do that immediately before you go. Some important चीज जो मैं पहले ही बता चुकी हूँ, make yourself comfortable, fidgeting नहीं करना है, have a firm handshake, very importantly. So कई लोगों की आदत होती है वो बहुत हल्का सा हाथ से टच करके छोड़ देते हैं. Don't do that. Form a proper handshake completely so that you can. So this is your hand. Next hand should go like this completely for a moment and then remove. Maintain a straight posture. Like I said, your body language talks much more than what your words are speaking. So अगर आप body language को ठीक से use नहीं कर सकते हैं and you are giving interview, it can really cause a lot of harm. Maintaining eye contact, very important. Smile, not too much कि आप एकदम ही खराब लगने लगे, but smile wherever you can so that you know you are sounding very affirmative. Fidgeting, I already told you, hand movements बहुत ज्यादा बहुत जरूरी नहीं है. हर चीज पे हाथ हिला हिला के बात करना. जहां पर जरूरी है वहां पर आपको hand movement करना है. Again, it comes with practice. Show interest. Ask questions so that the interviewer feels that you are interested in the job much more than the other candidates. Research करके जाओ, ऐसे questions पूछो. Turnover क्या है कंपनी का, profitability कैसे calculate करते हैं आप लोग, what are the formulas, something, you know, so that it shows that you are really, really interested in doing the job. Then be polite all the time. You don't have to be aggressive. Job मिली ठीक है, नहीं मिलेगी तब भी ठीक है. और भी बहुत सारी organization है, but politeness is utmost important. Right? Firm and politeness comes together for any interviewee who's appearing for the interview. Then last is leave on a positive note. So always say thank you before you're leaving the room for the opportunity that they have given you to come for the interview, and ask them when can you hear from them. Simple. So just on these two notes, you can always come back and leave the interview. All right. Any questions on this?
Ma'am, I have two questions. Just a small question. So
Yeah.
first of all, ma'am, because if I apply for any like marketing manager profile, so is it compulsory to wear a business suit with tie, or like it's a casual, like sorry, it's a formal shirt and pant and with the shoes is okay?
Depending upon, as I said, you know, there are some organizations who are very strict about their dress codes. कि tie भी होना चाहिए, shirt भी होना चाहिए, trousers properly होने चाहिए. So you can just check out the culture of the organization. LinkedIn से आजकल सब पता चल जाता है कि लोग कैसे पहनते हैं उस organization के. Right? You will be get to know about these things. और या फिर उनकी dress code policy उनके website पे mention होती है. So you can easily. अगर नहीं पता चल पाता है कि कंपनी का कैसा रूल है, so shirt and trouser in contrast color is always. So light blue shirt and navy blue trouser या black trouser के साथ is the successful. I mean, it's one of the best combinations that you can wear for the interview for males. For women, it can be beige colors, creamish, light creamish color. Again, sky blue is one of the colors for the shirts, for the tops, and always a darker shade of maybe skirt, trouser, suit, sari, whatever you want to wear. Right? The colors should not be too dark, not very too. I mean, which takes away your personality. आपकी personality ज़्यादा बात करनी चाहिए आपके कपड़े से. So that you need to highlight and see.
And one more question, ma'am. If interviewer is asking that like why do you want to leave a job in a short duration of time, because I just see that you have worked only for 1 year for this company, and like why do you want to switch the job? So like how to respond on these type of questions?
Be honest, whatever the reasons are, just to ensure कि आप बुराई ना करो कंपनी की.
Mhm.
Right? You can just say अगर आपकी manager से नहीं बनती, for example, you're changing because of your manager, reporting manager, then you can always say that my ideas do not gel well with my seniors. So somewhere we are always in contradiction, and I feel that the organization really will not miss not having me in the organization purely because of my ideas. not being heard. I want an organization where at least I am being heard and my ideas are given an opportunity. Simple, right? कभी बुराई नहीं करने का है, मतलब दिस यू कैन एक्चुअली, जो कहते हैं ना गांठ बांध लो अपने, तो कभी किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की दूसरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बुराई नहीं करना है. Why? Because what happens is that the organization starts feeling, the employer starts feeling that, if this person is doing it for the last organization, there are chances that when he or she is leaving my organization, will also talk about me in negative sense. So never be too negative. Problem भी है तो उसको इस तरीके से बनाना है that it sounds good to you. Professional growth चाहिए, इसीलिए कर रहे हैं. Not gelling well with the teams, वो कर सकते हैं. Not gelling well in the sense कि आपके उस पे नहीं आए, तो उसका क्वेश्चन को तोड़ मोड़ के इस तरीके से आंसर करना है. उसके बाद आता है हाउ टू हैंडल डिफिकल्ट इंटरव्यू सिनेरियो. समटाइम्स इंटरव्यू हमारे हाथ से निकल जाता है, जहां पर हम बहुत स्ट्रेस हो जाते हैं. स्पेशली ये तब होता है जब आपका अप्रेजल इंटरव्यू हो रहा होता है. अभी तो हम जॉब इंटरव्यूज की बात कर रहे थे. Appraisal interviews are little difficult to crack, and sometimes you get really nervous. Again, why we get too nervous is purely because we are not well prepared. हम अपने facts and figures को लेकर नहीं चलते हैं. I'm not sure how many of you have handled or you have appeared for performance appraisal interviews in your organization. बट जब भी रिव्यूज होते हैं तब बहुत सारी स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन आ जाती है, बिकॉज पीपल टॉक अबाउट योर पॉजिटिव एंड योर नेगेटिव ऑल्सो. सो दे showcase you your negativity that you have shown in the last 1 year and your positive also. So how you are dealing with the stressful question is you need to answer really well with facts and figures. Facts and figures हर मंथ की अपनी जितना भी आपकी परफॉर्मेंस है उसमें कलेक्ट करके रखना चाहिए हमेशा. एंड दैट्स व्हेन यू कैन टॉक रियली अबाउट कि मैंने ये काम किया था, ये काम सही हुआ, ये काम बहुत अच्छा हुआ और ये काम बहुत अच्छा नहीं हुआ. क्या रीजंस है वो काम अच्छे नहीं हुए? यू नीड टू बी प्रिपेयर फॉर दैट. थर्ड आता है इसके अंदर नेगोशिएटिंग सैलरी एंड बेनिफिट्स. जब भी हम अप्रेजल इंटरव्यूज देते हैं तब वहां दोबारा सैलरी नेगोशिएशन हो रहा होता है, बेनिफिट हो रहा होता है. आपका हाईलाइट ये है या यहाँ स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट ये बन जाता है, एक बेनिफिट हो जाता है कि यू ऑलरेडी नो द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नाउ फॉर एटलीस्ट अ ईयर. तभी आप अप्रेजल इंटरव्यू के लिए बैठे हैं, राइट? सो यू नो द कल्चर, यू नो कि कैसे सैलरी नेगोशिएशन ज्यादा बेटर होती है इस कंपनी के अंदर. तो वो एक आपके बेनिफिट हो सकता है, किस तरीके से आप उसको बातचीत कर सकते हैं. ऑल्सो समवेयर और दी अदर, चाहे कितनी कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी हो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, समवेयर यू गेट टू नो कि आपके पीयर लेवल पर लोगों को कितना पैसा मिल रहा है. सो इफ यू आर गेटिंग द अप्रेजल, आपको ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि इन्फ्लेशन रेट एटलीस्ट कवर कर रहा हो आपका अप्रेजल, विच इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 5-6%. हर साल महंगाई बढ़ रही है, तो उसको कवर करना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड देन ओवर एंड अबव, हाउ मच आर दे अप्रेजिंग यू फॉर योर परफॉर्मेंस, गुड परफॉर्मेंस इन दी कंपनी, अगर आपकी अच्छी रही है तो, राइट? सो दैट नेगोशिएशन ऑफ सैलरी एंड बेनिफिट्स becomes much more beneficial for you when you are doing appraisal. फिर आता है फीडबैक. इम्प्रूवमेंट करने के लिए, जो परफॉर्मेंस इम्प्रूव हो रहा होता है, एक फीडबैक लेना और सुनना बहुत क्रिटिकल हो जाता है. वी जनरली टेंड टू, एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग, इट्स आवर हैबिट. जब भी हमारे को कोई क्रिटिकल कुछ कर रहा होता है या नेगेटिव फीडबैक दे रहा होता है हमारे बारे में, हम बहुत क्रिटिकल हो जाते हैं सुनने के लिए. वी डोंट रियली एक्सेप्ट दैट एट फर्स्ट. सो ट्राई एंड लिसन कि कोई आपके बारे में क्या कह रहा है, चाहे आपको लग रहा हो कि वो गलत भी है, दैट्स ऑल राइट. बट इन अप्रेजल इंटरव्यू इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू bring that value of listening to whatever somebody has to say about you. जब तक आप सुनोगे नहीं तब तक आप उसका जवाब तैयार नहीं कर सकते हो, and you will never be able to give them that what you have to say about their feedback. So it's very important that you listen to the feedback in a most constructive manner and you can utilize it for constructivity for the future. फिर आता है सेकेंड इसमें critical self reflection. Never get into that area जहां पर आप दूसरों को मौका दे रहे हो अपने आप को बहुत ज्यादा क्रिटिकल वो करने का. You reflect yourself. So first is that you can you are the performer. You have done that job so many times in past. So you know कि आप कहाँ falter हुए हैं, कहाँ आपने काम अच्छा किया है, कहाँ खराब किया है. So try and assess yourself before you appear for the interview, so that you are aware that मैंने ये काम बहुत अच्छे किए थे, and no matter what the company says, I have done it really well, and these are the facts and figures related to that particular situation. How I handled it, how I identified areas, कहाँ पर हो सकते हैं, and you also know yourself कि मेरे improvement areas क्या हैं. and then openly seek for companies help and support कि जहां पर आपको अपनी improvement चाहिए वहां पर आप उनसे training के लिए demand कर सकते थे. Right? Most people are not aware of that, but most of the organizations, good organizations, 80% of them really provides good opportunity for everybody to progress in your career. So wherever you feel that you need to progress, you need to just highlight those points and seek their guidance. कि I am looking forward कि मैंने ये काम 6 अच्छे किए हैं, 2 खराब हुए थे. Why it happened in a wrong manner? Now I need company support so that I can get good training on these subjects and I can showcase that I am really good for the organization. Third point जो बहुत important है performance appraisal के time पर, interview के time पे, is that you need to be motivated, sound and look motivated and feel motivated also. कंपनी के लिए मोटिवेट नहीं रहोगे तो आप अप्रेजल में बैठने का कोई फायदा ही नहीं होता है. Right? So staying motivated and commitment to development. That your commitment is to yourself, that I am progressing, I am making changes in myself, my transformation is happening, and so the organization's goals will obviously be there for me to be able to reach them clearly, achieve them clearly. So you need to ensure कि motivation और commitment आपका दिखे हर काम के अंदर भी, जब आप अपना feedback दे रहे हो, receive कर रहे हो, तब उस time पर भी. So these are the few tips that's very important. जब हम लोग appraisal करते हैं organization में, what we seek from people is कि वो लोग कंपनी के अंदर रुकना क्यों चाहते हैं, कितने देर तक रुकना चाहते हैं, और अगर कोई नेगेटिव पॉइंट्स है भी उनकी परफॉर्मेंस में, so whether the person is keen to make changes in their performance or they that have that learning ability or not. So as an employer or as an HR, we see these things during the appraisal. So if you can show these 3 things importantly, that requesting and listening to the feedback, फिर critical self application reflection मतलब अपने आप को खुद तराजू में तोल के देखो. You need to see your self evaluation. Most organization appraisal time पर ये format में भी रखती है कि आप एक अपना self evaluation भी करके दे, फिर आपका senior आपको evaluate करके देता है. सो ये आजकल बहुत कॉमन हो गया है. KRA KPI मेथड में भी यही होता है, बैलेंस स्कोरकार्ड में भी हम यही करते हैं. थर्ड आता है ऑब्वियसली स्टेइंग मोटिवेशन एंड कम टू योरसेल्फ. सॉरी, वन सेकंड. Yeah, so that's all for this session. That's all from my side. In case other than this you have some questions, my email ID I've already sent it to you. So you can send across your CVs for correction and then we can talk about.
Sure, ma'am. If you don't mind, can you please resend it?
Sorry?
If you don't mind, can you please resend it your email ID, ma'am? I don't have it actually. I joined late. Not showing
It's in
my
the chat
laptop.
box itself.
It's
Okay, you
not
can
shown.
see that.
Actually, I might because I have joined late, so that's why.
No problems. I'm just sharing it again. Yeah, now you can see.
Yes, ma'am, got it. Thank you.
Right, so try and change. I'll share this PPT with Sir. Sir will send it across to all of you. And then try and change your resume according to whatever we have discussed so far. And after the thing, you can send across your CVs to me or your resumes to me, and then I'll try and change wherever I feel it's required.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So that one-time service is free of cost. After that, if you want to make some changes, it will be charging. So that's jokes apart. Yeah, just saying that. Right, but just expect that there would be some time delays in terms of replying back to the emails. So just ensure that that is happening.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Most welcome, every one of you. And yeah, Suman, you want to apply for the job, please send across your CV to me for that accounting position and on the email ID. I'll get in touch with you and we can talk.
Actually,
Thank
I'm
you so
also applying for a job and I have an interview on Tuesday.
Oh, great. So if you want some extra tips, please feel free to ask me questions. I'll share my number also. That's not an issue. And then we
Please,
can
ma'am.
talk and chat. No problems. I'll just send me your resume tomorrow, and then I'll share my number with you as well.
Right,
Perfect.
ma'am. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you so
so
much.
much,
ma'am.
everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye
All the
bye.
best
Take
for